I don't want to put nobody on blast, but I literally know a girl that went to dinner with Drake. This is important. The type of man that you want is going to take you serious. There's always, and it forced me to become creative with my workouts. A lot of trainers that, get their starts at like corporate gyms, they have all, and I've also been training other people for over 15 years. So I know what works, I know what doesn't work, because small little micro adjustments to your technique can make a huge difference in your mouth. Right? If you can't control your appetite, you can't control anything else in your life. That is the most basic. The average person is not going to want to take fitness advice from somebody who isn't fit. And I found that men tend to grow more through challenge, right? Men need to be challenged. Men need to feel like they're overcoming an obstacle. However, women tend to grow more through praise and admiration, right? See, the thing is that, all right, so men are very logical, right? And the thing with women is a lot of the things that women are attractive. Like, if you gave these faithful men $1 million and a Lambo and a blue check on Instagram, they'd be fucking models the next day. The first thing on our mind is sex. And I always tell girls,
everyone, welcome to the Full Notice Podcast. This is our second time with this in the new studio, so it's exciting. I have a very special guest, a big supporter of mine since I was in like 6th grade. I got my cousin here who has been a ride or die since my whole life. And I have the honor, the pleasure to introduce everyone to a man who I've seen overcome so many things. I literally can't thank my cousin enough for being there during my hard times. I've seen him be there for others during their hard times. Someone who is motivational, someone who's very respectful, family-orientated, extremely knowledgeable. I mean, I can't describe. This man literally changed my life. We're going to get into it on the podcast. And, a distinct honor and pleasure to introduce my cousin Camille, the owner of Life Building Fitness, and one of the most handsome people on the planet.
Thank you, buddy. Nah, but cheers to you, man. This is what you built here is amazing, is beautiful. I'm proud of you, and I'm honored to be here. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you. So yeah, man, as you know, I've been we both started playing football together.
Yep.
One of the interesting parts about that is that you were the starting running back. I was the starting fullback. Or I was actually the other running back, and then on defense I was the outside linebacker.
Yeah.
Right. And so we have a lot of memories during that time.
Literally in the trenches together, man.
Literally in the trenches. And one of the biggest things that I remember from our experience during that time was that I had a personal trainer. I literally went to Carini's and I worked out with a personal trainer, and somehow, some way, I don't know how you did it, but you was always right there, just as strong as me, just as fast, if not faster than I was, always involved, always motivating us, always pushing us. So can you please tell me how you did it?
I mean, I just always had a inclination towards sports and fitness, man. Like, as long as I can remember, I was always the fastest kid on any sports team I played or any school I went to. Even when we were little, playing freeze tag and shit. I was always the kid that nobody could catch.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So I've always had a natural inclination to be fit and strong and fast. And once I started, lifting weights and getting serious about sports and about fitness, it kind of came more naturally to me than it did to others. And then I found myself, giving others advice, and people will come to me for advice, and that's kind of how I got started on my journey of being a fitness coach.
So obviously no one knows this, but you were the one who introduced me to veganism. You introduced me to consciousness, which was and still is a huge part of my life. I think that's one of the things that really gave me identity. If I really think about it, You're the reason why I quit football. You're the reason why, yeah. You don't know this, man.
Why you quit?
I quit football when I was in college because I decided to go down a path of enlightenment,
Okay.
a path of bettering myself. The experience that I've had when I remember you used to order these micro dosed pills of mushrooms from the Houthi Ma'atra.
Yo, you got a good memory.
Yes.
That's crazy. You got a good memory.
And I remember the first little bit that you gave me, the experience that I had changed my life. It was something that, I can't, I thank you so much for it. It literally changed my path in life. I recall arguing with you all the time on my balcony, telling you that
always debate.
We need meat. It was like a thing. Now I'm more lenient. I'm kind of like, I'm not as extreme as I used to be with veganism.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do recognize the importance of eating healthy, something that you outlasted all of us. All the guys who were healthy, they're not as healthy. All the men who were in the gym are not owners of a gym. All the people that were in the sports industry that we knew at the time that were, whether they were trainers, they were, people who were nutritionists.
Mm-hmm.
You outlasted, and by your physical body have clear results that your program works, what you do works, your lifestyle works. Can you please bring me to the day that you decided to go the healthy route? Because we was eating cheeseburgers, bro. So what was it that inspired you? What changed you? How did that whole thing happen for you?
I kind of stumbled upon it by accident. It was more of a spiritual journey I was on that kind of led me towards a healthy lifestyle. And honestly, man, it's just having standards for yourself, right? So the problem is people set these lofty goals, but it's just something they kind of want. It's not something that they have to have, right? But standards is something you have to have. So, for example, it's a standard of mine to be strong, to be fit, to be lean. Like, it's not a goal, it's a standard. Like, there's a standard that I hold myself to. I will never let myself get fat or sloppy or any of that. Like, it's just, it will never happen, no matter what. No matter what I'm going through in life, no matter how busy I may be or how depressed I may be at the time, I'm always going to find a way to stay fit. Even if I got to do push-ups, even if I got to fast for a couple days, I'm always going to have that standard for myself, right? And I think that's where people kind of lose focus, is they have these goals, but they don't have standards. They're okay with being average. I'm not okay with being average in any area of my life, whether it's fitness, financially, in any area. Like, I want to be above average. I want to be the best I can be at every single thing I do. And if I'm not, then I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel happy. I don't feel proud of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the main thing I go for. So the reason why I outlasted all these people is because it's become part of my lifestyle. You know what I mean? It can't just be a thing that you try here and there. It has to be a lifestyle change. That you have to be consistent with what you do in order to see results long term. Like, I'm sure you've experienced this where, let's say you knew somebody that was fat in high school and you see them 10 years later and they're still fat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, damn, like, in 10 years you couldn't lose no weight? Nothing in 10 years?
It's a fact.
You know what I mean? So it's like they've accepted the fact that they're overweight or they're unhealthy, and it's just become a reality for them. And I could just never get behind that thought process. I could never just settle for average or mediocrity. Like, it just would never sit right with my soul.
What's your strategy for building? Because aside from that, you also have a character of you have a triumphant spirit. I remember when you broke your elbow in a game.
Yeah,
and
I still got the scars to this day.
It's one of the things where I couldn't believe. I think you ran about 2 or 3 more plays.
Yeah.
With a broken elbow.
It was the playoffs too.
and it was playoffs, and we had to yank you out of the game.
Yeah.
You were literally dangling arm, and we had to pull you out of the game. And since then, myself, the players on our team, Matt Davella, we all knew we got a champion here. This kid is, doesn't want to get off the field, broken bones. So there's a mentality that you have to have to achieve. I would say a mentality, but now looking back at it, I would also say a discipline to achieve the goals and results that you have in your fitness business. These are things that, I want to attain the things that you have attained. You've always been very disciplined, and I remember that when I was going to a personal trainer, working out and being motivated by others, somehow you found the way to be motivated through yourself. As weird as that sounds, I remember going over your house and working out in your gym. Like you had a gym. You changed your whole, I think you told Theo, like, I'm going to take the garage and I'm going to make it a gym. And you made your garage a gym. And that's where we would go. If I didn't go training, I didn't go to the weights at the school, we were at your house working out. Can you, like, how early on did you know that this was going to be your path? Because you're not an ordinary trainer. I'm going to let you speak for yourself, but I was a trainer as well. I was a trainer for Sports University back in the day. I know a little bit about physical fitness. However, you get really in depth into your craft. You're like a master of your craft. So can you please explain a little bit about did it start when you were 16, 17, when we were going to your garage to work out? Was that just for you, or did that evolve? Like, can you expound on that?
Yeah, it started way before that, man. Like, I remember being 8 years old, watching like WWE, like idolizing like The Rock and like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, all that wrestling shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like, I would see like, oh, these guys are big and strong. Like, I want to be like that. I would be in my room doing sit-ups, push-ups, as early as I can remember. You know what I mean? I've always been into fitness. Always. I've always wanted to be strong. I've always wanted to not just look strong, but actually be strong, be athletic. So I've never needed somebody to push me to work out. It's always been an internal motivation of mine to try to push myself to be as strong as I can, to look good, to be healthy, to be energetic. So like, I've never needed a personal trainer to kind of push me to do that. It's always been something that's been inside of me. So I just naturally, would do my research, try out different training methods, see what worked best. And then, as you mentioned, I had my beginnings, literally living with my parents. I turned the garage into a gym. Starting out, I literally had a pair of dumbbells and like, like the roller that goes under a garbage can. I would literally use that to do like core workouts and shit. So I think that's why I became such a good trainer, is because I had limited tools to use in the beginning, and it forced me to become creative with my workouts. A lot of trainers that, get their starts at like corporate gyms, they have all these fancy machines, and it kills the creativity. There's no need to be creative, because you just use the machine, do 3-4 sets of 10, whatever, and that's it. Like, nah, like, I started with I now, and I'm also more into like functional training. So like, I want to look big and strong, but I also want to actually be strong and athletic in real life. You know what I mean? I don't want to just have muscle but then not be able to help you pick up a couch.
Right.
I want to actually be functional in real life. That's why I rarely ever use machines. It's mostly calisthenics, free weights, things like that.
Can you explain what exactly is functional workouts? What's the difference between a functional workout and the whatever other kind of workout that's there?
So a functional workout is more workouts that include more muscle groups, right? So includes your core, your stabilizer muscles, exercises that can be applied more easily into real life scenarios. Like, for example, if you're an athlete, or whatever the case may be, like strength that's transferable into the real world. So, for example, a lot of the exercises that bodybuilders do, or just a lot of these machines that they use, it's gonna build muscle, but that strength is not easily transferable into real life scenarios.
Right. You could be super bulky and not be able to do a pull up.
Yeah, that's why you'll see a lot of like big bodybuilders, like they look like they're in great shape, but they get out of breath going up a flight of steps.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or they can't even do a pull up. You know, it's not functional strength. So like, not only do I want to build as much muscle as possible and look good, but I also want, like I say, like it's not just show muscle, it's go muscle. So I don't just want to have show muscle. I want to have go muscle where it's actually applicable in the real world, whether I'm playing sports or let's say I need to defend myself. Like I have the strength and athletic ability to do so.
Right. In your workouts, because I recall when we would work out, you would do things that were a bit unorthodox. You'd have us run up and down your driveway, we do pull-ups, push-ups. What I've realized is that you're very picky with your detail. So you would say, turn your toes in this way so that you can hit this part of your body, because it's like little things that you would never, and I've had Joe Carini, in my opinion, he was 8-time New Jersey strongman and one of the best trainers I've had ever. You are by far, rest in peace to Joe Carini in all respects due to him, but honestly, by far, functionality-wise, health, living-wise, you are by far way better of a trainer. Your standards for what you provide, and not only are you providing, because I think also your clientele is primarily women, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
You're providing stable workouts that are not hurting these females. They're not making them look manly, because I've seen the transformations, and shout out to you. You're doing the world a service.
Appreciate you.
You're changing these women's lives, having them lose weight. Girls that are skinny who have somewhat of a body, you're making them look even better. Like, I've seen girls who I'm like, there's no way he can make her look better. I go back and I check a month later, and there's obvious increases and gains, and like you're really doing magic on in the gym without seeing them do crazy squats, without doing them. It's like I'm seeing different techniques. Where are you getting your information from? What is it? What techniques? How are you learning this? What is it where are you getting this information from? What are you doing?
I mean, it's trial and error, man. Like, I've been training myself, like I said, since I was like 8 years old.
Right.
I'm 33 now, and I've also been training other people for over 15 years. So I know what works, I know what doesn't work. And social media, there's a lot of like trends and fads, especially in the fitness industry. There's a lot of BS advice as well. I stick to what works. I make sure their form is good. I progressively overload every single week, and slow and steady wins the race.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you mentioned that, I nitpick about form and point your toes this way, and there's a reason for that. It's because small little micro adjustments to your technique can make a huge difference. When you're lifting weight, small little changes that help you target the muscle more effectively, you're going to see way better results than if you didn't make those changes. And like, it's like the smallest thing that you think, oh, that's not going to make a difference, but in the long run it will. Not only is it going to prevent injury, but it's going to make the exercise more effective, and it's going to help you see better results. And you don't need to lift like a shit ton of weight to get to that result either.
You've mentioned fasting. Now, you are built like I don't want to say Greek god, because they're not the most handsome in my opinion. People, a Native American god. Like, you got 8-pack, 12-pack. Like, it's weird, it's crazy, and it's something that you've worked on since we were young. I remember we would do challenges, and I'm not gonna talk about how you was beating us up. Wrestling. I'm not gonna get into how you was a championship wrestler, and the best in our town at the young age, beating up the like older guys or whatever. But let's not get into that. I want to stick to the fasting. how is it that you manage to fast? Like that's one of the hardest things that I've done. You know, you've been I think you put the fire under my butt the other day, about 3 months ago, when you said, "Pri, you're getting fat."
Mhm.
And as soon as you said that, I said, "Hey man, I've been building this studio." Your response was, "I don't want to hear it. No excuses.
No
This is
excuses.
what you got to do."
No excuses.
And since that time, I've lost 10 pounds, and
Proud of you, man.
that's
Proud of you.
without sleep. That's with listening to your advice. And I'm not even at the gym yet. So you've been giving me advice on just, you were very realistic with me in the advice you gave me. And thankfully, I didn't have to pay for the advice. A lot of people, they're going to have to pay for the advice.
Mhm.
And, but you mentioned fasting, which is something that you recommended for me, and it has been working and it has worked. Can you go ahead and kind of describe what kind of fasting do you do? I know there's multiple kinds. If you can kind of just go in on fasting and explain that.
Yeah, man. I mean, so there's different ways to fast, and there's different benefits to it. But basically, it's the key benefit to it is disciplining your appetite, right? In life, if you the main thing that you can control is what you put in your mouth, right? If you can't control your appetite, you can't control anything else in your life. That is the most basic fundamental thing of discipline. The first thing you must discipline is your appetite. And if you can't control what you eat or how much you eat or when you eat, you're going to have a really difficult time controlling anything else in your life. So, what I do and what I do is, so I'll start my day with a protein shake. And a lot of times I won't eat anything else throughout the day. I'll have a protein shake, maybe like a little snack throughout the day, but because I want to feel like I am full of energy throughout the day. And when I eat a lot throughout the day, I get lethargic, I get tired. And as a fitness coach, I can't have that because my clients feed off of my energy. If I'm tired, they're going to be tired. They're not going to put in 100% during their workouts. You know what I mean? I need to bring that motivation, that energy. So I need to be at 100% energy level in order to motivate them to go hard in their workouts.
And this is every day for you. So, because I know that you'll post a client in the morning and you'll be in there actually working out, doing pull ups. And then I'll see it'll be 6, 7 o'clock, post again, and you're still doing pull ups, man. What's going on? How? Because fasting is not easy.
Yeah.
You know, do you do intermittent fasting, or what kind of fasting are you in? Juice fasting? When you say fasting, you're saying it from a professional disciplinarian. How? Because not only are you this is the crazy part. Not only are you disciplined, but you're a disciplinarian, so you're teaching other people to be disciplined.
Right.
And what a lot of trainers don't know or do, or they're not great at motivating their clients to also fast, to also follow your, I guess your routine or your advice. You're changing lives in that regard. So can you go ahead and explain that?
Yeah, I mean, so the number one thing is you need to be the example, right? Just how you wouldn't go to somebody who isn't wealthy for financial advice, right? The average person is not going to want to take fitness advice from somebody who isn't fit. And it drives me crazy how many times I see trainers that don't follow their own advice. They don't even look like they work out. A lot of times their clients are more fit than they are. I'm like, you have no business being a trainer. You must embody the advice that you give. You must be the living example. Because at the end of the day, people are gonna do what they see and not what they're told. If you're not the example of what you preach, people aren't gonna take you serious. So that's the number one thing. You must be that example. You cannot preach something and not be doing it yourself. Right? Just how you wouldn't take financial advice from a bum, you're not gonna take fitness advice from somebody who isn't fit and isn't emulating that lifestyle.
Right.
So that's very important. Now, of course, I'm not 100% strict. Like I'll have a drink here and there. You know what I mean. But on my day-to-day life, I am strict, so I can afford to have fun here and there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You use that as a reward
Yep.
system. Do you think that's the best way to go about it? Is like, let's say you work 9 to 5, and then as a reward you'll have dinner. Whereas someone like maybe myself, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, it's 3 o'clock, time for me to just have a meal. Instead of me thinking, oh, I just woke up, oh, it's 9, time for breakfast. You kind of do it more so like a reward for yourself to train your mind. Is that what you're saying, or how?
Yeah, yeah. So it's a reward for doing what I got to do throughout the week. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? But I wouldn't recommend people do that in the beginning of their fitness journey. For the first 30 to 90 days, you need to be strict because you're you're essentially creating a new lifestyle for yourself. You're trying to build new habits, and it's too easy to go back to your bad habits if you don't cut them out completely in the beginning. Once you build that discipline and that motivation and you build a solid foundation for yourself in the beginning,
Hmm.
then you can start, having cheat meals here and there, having a drink here and there. But for the first 30 to 90 days, depending on the individual, I wouldn't recommend you do that at all. I recommend you hunker down and you really, really focus on your goals and you build that discipline. And once you have that established, then you can, reward yourself here and there. And that's the key. It has to be a reward. It can't just be a moment of weakness. It has to be a scheduled, premeditated reward for the work that you've already put in.
Mm. So let me ask this other question. With when when we would work out, not I noticed that you also have a lot of endurance. You're not just strong. You also have endurance. Is that part of one of the main things that you do? You build endurance because again, it's. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of incredible. You have w- a a very strict workout for men that you do, and you also have, you know, another workout, another kind of workout that you do for women. I see that you're, with the men, you're more. I guess you're more of a like hardcore. You're
Hmm.
kind of going in, and not only that, but you're also, teaching them life lessons, speaking to them as men, giving them advice on women. Something that I want to talk about as well. A lot of men uh, are struggling getting girls. Something that
Yeah.
you've never had a problem with since we were young, and you were dorky. You had glasses on. Don't act like you was
I had
play
glasses.
you
I wouldn't say I was
you was
dorky.
Playboy Mills, man. Come on, man. You had the what was your screens what
You
was
talk
it?
about MySpace?
MySpace Playboy Mills, you know what I'm saying? You was I mean, but hey, you was getting girls since I can remember. There hasn't been, and not just girls, the baddest girls and the most beautiful women, and to this day, I mean, you're an incredible man. We all know that, no, the Millz life. So we'll talk about that, further on. But to the point, you train men in a different way. You kind of are more strict. You guys have competitions in your gym where,
Hmm.
it's like you guys get these huge, uh, like
Medicine balls?
medicine balls, and you guys are like challenging each other and
Yeah.
wrestling, and it's almost like a very competitive workouts. They're not just normal workouts where you're just going to the bench doing, doing 4 sets of 10. You're doing competition. Can you go ahead and explain as to why you do that and what's the purpose of that?
Yeah, yeah. So just through my experience training and also just my understanding of human nature, I found that men tend to grow more through challenge, right? Men need to be challenged. Men need to feel like they're overcoming an obstacle. However, women tend to grow more through praise and admiration,
Mhm.
right? We're very different in that sense. So that's what I kind of apply towards my training with the women. I will praise them whenever they do a great job. And for the men, I challenge them. I challenge their strength. I challenge their not just their physical strength, but their mental strength, their endurance. You know what I mean? So, I do what's called like combat games. So I have a game called Titan Wrestling, where you have a stability ball, you're holding it on one side, another guy is holding it on the other side, and literally the object of the game is try to rip the ball from the other man's arms by any
Mm.
by any means necessary. That is the game. And guess what? If you win, the next guy goes immediately. The next guy goes immediately.
No,
So
no break.
no break. So if you win, you got to go again. and you got to go again until you lose. If you lose, and if you lose, then the winner he keeps going. So it's a great workout, but it's also a gut check.
Yeah, competition
Yeah.
building. It makes you want to know I got to be better than that guy. Like
Yeah.
me, I'm competitive, so
Mhm.
and that's one of the reasons why I don't go over there, man, because I don't want to have to beat you. You know what I'm saying? You think
Yo,
I'm doing my push-ups?
let's set it up. Let's set it
Nah,
up.
I'm good. I'm good. Chill. I'm good. I'm good. Yo, I don't want to mess with
No,
you.
but yeah, but
Yeah.
challenge and competition definitely brings out the best in a man.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean? That testosterone, that
Mhm.
that striving to be the best. And even if you lose, it's okay. Like it's not like like it doesn't. I don't. With me, when I'm training people, I can care less how strong you are, how weak you are. All I care about is your heart. How much effort are you giving me?
Right.
If I have a strong guy but he quits before, and I know he could do more, I'm gonna be more disappointed in that versus if I got a weak man but he gives it his all every single time, and I know he's not holding anything back. You know what I mean? So
Right.
like that's the main thing I look for is just effort, that mental toughness, that willingness to want to be better and to push yourself through that pain threshold.
Very, very, very interesting. Another thing that I would like to point out, and thank you for making this interview extremely easy because I know you. So
Mhm.
there are so many things that I naturally I just want to know. I have questions, and I know things that are so detailed about how you think that it makes this. I think this is so far it's been the best interview that I've had. I'm excited,
Appreciate
and
you.
yo, so okay, here's the question that I've asked you this before, but I'm gonna frame it this way in a different way. You are an expert dog trainer. It's crazy. I don't understand how that even came to be, but you're like the dog whisperer. There's no guys. This is like I'm being serious. This guy knows how to train dogs, and I've asked you questions because there's a like an a intellect that you apply to training dogs that you also apply to human nature.
Mhm.
And one of those, I guess, one of the ways that you're able to apply it, I want to say this the right way so it's not offensive towards people, but you apply uh, the dog's nature to human nature to get people to do correct things by, like, for example, positive affirmation, what is it, positive reinforcement.
Mhm.
So you reward for positive actions that they've done. An example of what I've seen is that you had a, no gym does this, I've never seen it done at a gym, but you had a chart that said if you can beat the best time in doing a pull up, if you can hold yourself for the longest, you get 5 days free training, or
Mhm.
it was like a week's training for
Yeah.
free or something like that. That builds positive reinforcement. But me knowing you, I know that you've learned a lot of that psychology from training your dogs.
Yeah.
Is there a correlation there? Is there a discipline that you apply or some kind of, because this is just training, but it also can go into relationships and da 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 da,
Mhm.
and we've spoken about that in depth before. But for the sake of now, can you explain where that came from and your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So I've always had a deep, deep love for animals, especially dogs, but just animals in general. When I was a little kid, I never watched cartoons. All I watched was Animal Planet, and this was like back in the day when Animal Planet was actually like educational and like
Mm-hmm.
it would show all these like animal documentaries and things like that. Like I was obsessed, obsessed. And I watched a lot of shows about dogs. I watched a lot of Dog Whisperer. I learned a lot from him. But basically, and this applies to anything, right? So most communication is actually body language and energies, not so much words, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where people get mistaken is they try to talk to their dog too much. I don't have to talk to my dog. I could literally never say a word. Just with my energy and my body language and my emotions and the way I look at my dog, she'll know exactly what I want her to do.
Right.
You know what I
Seen
mean?
that.
Like I don't have to say a word. But what do most people do? Oh, Rex, do this, Rex, stick, Rex, go over there. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, they try to talk too much, and with that, when you do that, the dog gets in an excited, playful state, and when the dog is excited, it's less likely to listen.
Right.
You know what I mean? A dog. See, the animal kingdom. See, like humans are very disconnected from nature, right?
I'm going on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Humans are very disconnected from nature, but in reality, in nature, in the animal kingdom, they go off energy, right? Whoever is calm and confident is usually who is the leader, right? Like if you got a pack of lions or whatever, it could be anything, it could be chimps, anything. The most calm, confident member of the group is usually the alpha, the leader,
right?
And it's the one that other people go to for guidance, right? And it's the same thing in anything. So if you want somebody to listen to you, whether it's a dog or whether it's another human, you have to be calm, confident, right? You can't come across as this playful energy, right? There's a time and place for that, but when it's leadership time, they need to know that you're calm, you're not panicked, and you're confident, meaning you know what you're doing, and you have a plan on what you're doing, and you have a goal to reach.
Can you see how that your words? You're talking about dogs, but it's so applicable to the dating world.
Yeah.
Can you explain? I mean, because you're someone who, I mean, I've literally seen women throw themselves out of cars. I saw a chick throw herself. I seen a girl throw herself out of a car for you. Literally.
I mean,
to get his number, guys. It was nuts. So can you explain? Because you have a way with speaking, something that you've grown into. You've become a professional at your craft, a master at what you do, and it has translated to you having a successful, not only company, but you also are a real estate investor. You have properties, and so all these different compilation of things that you've done in your life, and training people, dogs, getting to know people, getting to know dog psychology, getting to know the same nature of people, and all these things make you who you are today. And it's impressive to watch how you're this, high earning, alpha attractive young man who has, options and all that. And yet I've seen you go to men who don't and give advice, like one of our friends that we know that you were giving advice. And I'm someone, I get girls speaking to me, like me hearing you say things. It's kind of how I think. It's very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So can you go in on like your thought process when, let's say, approaching women, being someone that's fit, what would you tell men who are not fit how to approach women and get girls, and what advice would you give men?
I mean, it's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is that you need to understand what it is that women want and what it is that men want. So in today's society, it's a lot of really, really bad advice out there. It's a lot of really see, the thing is that, all right, so men are very logical, right? And the thing with women is a lot of the things that women are attracted to are counterintuitive to men, right? So like men, we're told our whole lives, oh, go after what you want, work hard. If you keep going after it, you'll get it, right? And that applies to making money. It applies to the business world, but it doesn't really apply to women, right? The more you chase a woman, the more she will run from you, right?
Agreed.
So, yeah. So men take this advice and apply it to everything, including dating, and they think like, oh, like they see all these, Disney movies, and they hear what women say they want, and just be like, oh, like if I just get her flowers and hold the boombox outside of her room every night, eventually she'll fall in love with me and we'll get married. But that's not how reality works.
Right.
At the end of the day, women want a man that is a catch. Women want a man that is a complete package. And men don't work on themselves enough to get to that point, right? Like you need to have your money on point to a certain degree. You don't have to be the wealthiest man, but you need to be at least financially stable.
At least take a girl on a date, and if it's $200, I mean, you need to cover $200. That's, I mean, $200.
Yeah, but I wouldn't recommend taking a girl on a $200 date the first date.
Okay, wait.
I,
Unpack that, because a lot of us men out there that don't, don't get girls the way that other guys get girls. We want to know. Hold on. How come all these guys, they're not? Why is she giving him the box and I'm not getting the box?
So
unpack that.
I mean, before anything, you need to be an attractive man to start with, right? Like
some ugly dudes ain't getting boxed, guys. There's nothing we could do.
Yeah,
You ain't
like,
getting boxed.
yo, like if you're overweight, if you broke, if you got acne all over your face, man, listen, ain't no pickup line, ain't no nothing gonna work for you. Like
unless you rich.
Like yeah, unless you're a multi-millionaire, but even then the girls are just gonna use you for your money.
Exactly.
They're not gonna have genuine attraction for
genuine
you.
Desire.
So if you want genuine attraction and desire, you have to work on yourself as a man. You have to be the complete package, or as close to the complete package as possible. Now you can compensate. So like let's say you're not in the best shape, but you have a lot of money and you're confident. That can compensate for not being in the best shape, or vice versa, right? Maybe you don't have the best, maybe you don't have the most amount of money, but you're really attractive, you're really confident, and you have charisma. You make women feel comfortable. That can compensate for.
Come on, man, stop describing yourself, man.
So like the point is that like you want to try to be as much of a complete package as possible, and if you lack in one area, you damn sure better make sure you make up for it in another area.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because in the fitness industry, there's a lot of vanity. There's a lot of, women tend to have a vain heart. They are more into themselves than they are into others. They care more about what you think about them, and than anything, right? So, as a trainer and working with women most of the time, is it challenging to appease? There has to be a level of appeasement. I mean, maybe this is one of the reasons I wouldn't be able to be a trainer, besides the fact that right now I'm overweight. I wasn't overweight back in the day, but now, I'm working on it. I would probably tell a fat girl who came in, you're 280 pounds or whatever. I think of 180 is fat. So you're 180 pounds, you're 5'4". This is the reality. You're fat and you got to lose weight. And, I may be a bit more direct. I don't know. How do you approach being able to tell women the truth about their situation and where they're at, and then your path forward? How do you go about that?
Yeah, so I mean, when it comes to women, and this goes with what I do with my business, but also with just dating women, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So I can tell a girl, like, hey, look, like, you're overweight, you know what I mean? At the rate you're going, you're putting yourself at risk for a lot of health issues, heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, things like that. I can tell her that, and she's not going to take it offensively because she knows I'm right. And I'm an expert at what I do, and I'm not just saying that to insult you. I'm saying that because it's the truth, and I want to help you get to a healthy weight. I want to help you be more confident, be more energetic, be stronger. You know what I mean? And they know that. And that's another thing, is your intention behind it. So I'm very genuine in what I do. Like, I genuinely want to help everybody that comes to me. Like, I genuinely want to make you your strongest, leanest, sexiest version of yourself, whether you're a man or a woman. So it's about how you say it. Now, obviously, if I'm just like, yo, you're a fat bitch, like, you need to lose weight, they're going to take that offensively.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they know I'm coming from a good place, and, I word things in a certain way where I let them know, like, hey, look, like, you are overweight, your body fat is, this much, and, and it should be like this, and I guide them towards getting that.
So getting back to men in the dating world, fitness, money, confidence, and just being an overall good person, right? However, what's going on with women? They tend to not necessarily want these good guys.
Mhm.
How do you go about getting women but not being a good guy? You have to be rude. You may have to be a bit controversial with your, what is it that women want? What is it that women like? How is it that some guys get all the girls
Yeah.
and other guys don't get no girls?
So this is the thing: is that what women say they want and what they actually respond to are two different things. So you gotta understand that women are emotional, right? So they don't think logically about, okay, why is it that I slept with this guy on the first date, and why is it that I made this guy wait 3 months before I even kissed him,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like women don't analyze these things. It's just how they feel around the guy,
Right.
right? Women are emotional beings. They're not logically analyzing why they're attracted to one guy over the other. So women are always going to say the politically correct thing, like, "Oh, I want a guy that's nice, that buys me flowers, that lets me dress how I want and go where I want and do whatever I want," and like, but in actuality that's not the type of man that they actually are attracted to and that they respect. That's not the type of guy that they sleep with on the first night.
Why is that?
It's because that guy is not. All right, so so men that have options, right? Men that are attractive, that have options, don't tolerate BS from women.
Facts.
And women know this internally, whether they admit it or not.
They know.
Women know this. So women know if you're tolerating their games, if you're tolerating them, making you wait for the box or whatever the case, just tolerating disrespect. They know you don't have options like that. They know you're in a scarcity mindset. A man that's in an abundance think about it. If you had 5 bad bitches every night that you can call whenever you want and they're ready to come suck your dick any night you want, would you tolerate disrespect from a girl
No.
you're on a first date with?
Well, let me just, for the record, I don't. I don't tolerate no BS from no chick at any time. I got 3 wives, and they all know I don't play no games. I'll kick their ass out. I'll move them. I'll duck and dodge. I don't play that. So I 100% agree with everything you're saying. When I think of how women nature is, and I think of what I've learned, it's the one thing that I've learned is having zero tolerance is the best policy for men. Don't have this leniency for mediocrity in a woman.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a woman to be a person that is going to add value to your life, let her know she must add value to your life.
Yep.
Don't just be around there and have a woman who's not going to add any, because believe it or not, most women in certain demographics of people, I would probably say class of people, they think that just because they have a body, just because they have a nice shape, figure, that's it. They are the table.
Yeah,
because of that.
But that's because most guys
Yes.
are so thirsty that if a girl just looks good, that's all they need to bring to the table.
That's why women naturally have an abundance mind state.
Yep.
Women are operating from the perspective of, I'm a bad B.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need no man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care, because guess what? If you're not going to pay my rent, Eduardo, who may not be as attractive as you, but he making whatever he's making, he's going to give me that to make sure that I could pay my bills. And I'm not going to give him box because I'm giving Tyrone box, but Eduardo's going to pay my bills, and that's all that matters. So I'm going to give him more attention than I'm going to give you, because who are you? So, I mean, you're absolutely right in what you're saying.
But see, like, the thing is that women don't actually want these men. Like, every woman craves a strong, dominant man. Every single one. Like, it's ingrained in their biology, right? Like, yeah, we live in this modern society today where, we're not hunting buffalo anymore, and, there's not any real immediate danger, at least not on a day-to-day basis. But the last couple 100 years of human society doesn't completely erase hundreds of thousands of years of biological wiring,
Mm-hmm.
right? So women still want a guy that's taller than them, a guy that's stronger than them, a guy that's more confident than them, a guy that's more assertive, a guy that's more intelligent. They want all these things in a man, right? And as men, we don't really ask for much in women. Just don't be annoying, don't be a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? Like,
Add value to a
yeah,
degree.
don't disrespect me. Like it, men, we're really simple, right?
Mhm.
And women have all these standards. So it's like, yo, if I meet all these standards, I'm the good-looking, confident man that you want. I make money. I got good dick. All this shit. Like, you're gonna respect me.
Facts.
You're gonna be on my program. And if not, guess what? I got 4 other girls that's hotter than you, waiting to take your place. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
And this is the mindset. Women will never admit this, but this is the
They
mindset.
like that.
Yeah, they love this shit.
They love it.
They love because women want what other women
Let me
want.
take a sip to that
Yo.
because it's the absolute. I don't know how many times I have to tell these youngins because it's really the look. The other day, I'm gonna show you. I got to show you these DMs, bro. The other day, I have this kid hit me up, tell me about his girlfriend. I didn't know it was his girlfriend. I wasn't even flirting with this girl. She works at a place. We know who the guy is. She's been working there, and he hit her. He hit me up. No, he hit my first wife up talking about, oh, you need to leave your man, right? And I'm like, my wife. My life is amazing. So my wife tells me what's going down.
And by the way, I can corroborate that. You got your family in a beautiful position.
Thank you, brother.
You are the leader of your family.
Thank you.
They all respect you. They all love you. And that is so rare to see nowadays. So I got to give you your props, Bree. Like,
thank you, brother.
You got that, man. You got that.
In my life, I'm top G.
You are.
You know, in my like realm, I'm a man.
As you should be.
As we are. You're the man in your life, and I could corroborate,
and
vice versa. And we're successful men. That's why I'm so thankful. It saddens me that we have friends from our past, from high school. You know, they don't live the life we live. They're not in the status position that we're in. But that's neither here nor there. The women that this girl, her man hit me up and started talking about, oh, so you're hitting on my girl. She's 17, this, that, and the third. Talking, brother, all this crazy stuff, right? Mind you, I've never hit on her a day in my life. But I understand young, dumb shit. You know, young guy, jealous, sees a man doing good, verified on the gram. So immediately starts attacking me. And I'm thinking to myself, man, should I just let this go? Or should I try to educate this young brother on what's going on? So I chose the more adversarial route. And I was like, listen, man, you're not going to last with this girl. You're too jealous. You're already trying to control people in her comment section. I publicly commented on her post, saying that, oh, I've been there. Literally, I've been there too. I was at that place too. It was a fair or something. And I was like, oh, I was there. And guys who are insecure, one of the ugliest things a man can be, in my opinion, is insecure. Because not only did this individual show himself to be a weak man by expressing his insecurities to me, but as I'm an alpha dude, now I see blood.
Yeah.
Now, and his girl is a beautiful young woman. Her birthday is in the 19th. She about to be 18. Now you got me waiting for the blood in the water, and it's stupid. It's like I could be a real asshole and throw a band her way and be like, hey, let's just go hang out. And it's like, yo, hang out with me is great. You hanging out with me, you doing fun stuff. Things that whatever you 18, you got no bread. What are you gonna provide? You're messing. You're trying to box with a god. It's not gonna work. So it's like me. If Drake comes, how am I gonna compete with Drake? If Drake offered a girl that I'm talking to, not my wife, because my wife is different. Not none of my wives. My wives are loyal. That's why they're my wives. But if I'm messing with a girl and here comes Drake and I know I'm not going to invest in this woman the
Right.
way that I would for, my family, Drake is going to have that. It's Drake. I mean,
Gotta chalk it up to the game.
got to chalk it up to the game, man. It's Drake. So this guy's going to take a L if he, so advice like this is one of the things that I think men need to hear. Men need to understand, especially the younger generation, because the younger generation is really different than how we grew up.
Facts.
Younger generations seem to have no idea of violence. They don't really have an idea. They're more into, well, we'll just kill them and that's it. Where we were more like, well, we're gonna fight it out, duke it out, punch, get the actual violence and live within that violence. Where they're just like, I'm just gonna kill him, go to jail for the rest of my life, whatever. It's a different kind of.
The thing is that these young boys, man, they have no discipline, man.
They're soft.
They have no discipline. They have no toughness. They weren't. A lot of them were raised by single mothers, and not only that, but 90% of teachers in schools are women. So like, they've never had a strong masculine figure in their life to be that disciplinarian, to teach them how to control their emotions, how to control their anger, when it's okay to enact on violence and when it's not.
Can you imagine being like, this is just me thinking, right? When I was young, I would think ahead. I wouldn't want to be embarrassed. So I would never text another man, yo, why I saw you with my girl. I saw you riding with I saw you with my girl was in your car. Like, I would never, even if I saw that, and it could have been that, hey, maybe I was insecure about that. Hey, what's going on with that? Something strange going on there. Even if those were thoughts in my mind, I would never text the guy and say that, because then that's evidence of me being a bitch.
Yeah. Not only that, but it's not the guy's fault. It's your girl.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like, unless it's a guy that's like I'm cool with, that's different. But if it's some random dude, that dude owes me no loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if a guy's able to smash my girl,
that's it.
I'm gonna kick her to the curb and I'm gonna give him props. Like, I have no hostility towards that man. Right. He don't owe me nothing. He's not in a relationship with me. He doesn't know me. He owes me no loyalty whatsoever. He's just a guy being a guy. It's the girl's job to be inaccessible, to be unavailable.
Women know that,
yeah,
but men don't.
Yeah, to not put herself in those positions.
Right.
So unless it's somebody I know, I ain't gonna get mad at the dude. Like,
let me say this. I've seen women who are married. I've experienced situations where I've seen it's sad. I've never been on that side because I've never trusted women enough to, how it's like that innocent love where you're just like, I'm going to give you all my love. I'm going to put in everything. I'm pouring my heart into you. I've been fortunate enough, in my culture, we're polygamous. So my father, from a very young age, showed me multiple women. He showed me his lifestyle. I mean, it's my dad. It's my culture. It's my way of being. So I never had that, like, oh, I'm going to pour all my love into here and then experience that, like, heartache that a lot of men experience. Because I've never been polygamous. I mean, I've never been monogamous. Mm-hmm. I've always had multiple girls, that I've managed and been with at the same time and things like that. And I see now that as a man, that was the best thing for me because I didn't experience the things that other men are experiencing that they don't even know. Women are not this pure, godly thing that they used to be. Nowadays, these girls are on OnlyFans. You know why that 18-year-old isn't really giving you any attention? It's because she has an OnlyFans where thousands of men are giving her attention, and they're paying for her to give them attention. So who are you to get anything for free out of her when she's monetized her sexuality? right?
Yep.
And as men, that's what we crave. That's what we want. We want their sexuality. I don't care what any man says. I mean, we can speak about the moral part of it, but the human nature aspect of our proclivity to procreate,
Yeah.
our desire to continue our bloodline, overrides any of the, I would say, religious doctrines that may tell people, oh, have one woman, settle down, get a, be married, blah, 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 blah. Like, men want to procreate, men want to have more than one woman. And because of the inaccessibility of women, a lot of guys are turning to, corn.
Yep.
And they're turning to OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on all these women being the, I guess, breadwinners, right? They're better than men. This feminist perspective that women are carrying now. And as they get older, you and I know that they're going to hit that wall and they're going to be very miserable. And they're going to have a past. So they're going to be miserable with baggage.
Yeah.
And they may have children. So that's even more baggage. So what are your thoughts on where this is headed, and what are the biggest problems you see in society?
Man, listen,
It's a lot.
in the near future, we're going to have a lot of lonely single women, because women have a difficult time of putting themselves in the male perspective and seeing things from the male perspective. They only see things from their own perspective. And it's they take the fun, exciting route right now, right? Like, oh, like, I'm gonna just party, or I'm gonna travel, or I'm gonna go on OnlyFans, make all this money, sexualize myself. And in the moment, it's great. They're getting all this attention. They're making money. They're getting invites to, go to Miami, go on yachts, and all this stuff. And that's cool in the moment, but they don't realize that it's gonna come to bite them in the ass as they get older, because every time you do something like that, you're decreasing the likelihood that and this is important, the type of man that you want is going to take you serious. There's always going to be a simp out there, but women don't want them, right? Women will take attention from them. Women will take money from them, but women don't want to be in a relationship with them. Women don't want to have a baby with them, right? Women want a strong, successful, confident man, right? But guess what? Strong, successful, confident men have.
We have multiple women.
We have options. We have options with women. So if I have options with women, right? Let's say I got 5 girls, right, that I could pick from. Am I going to pick the girl that does OnlyFans and is constantly going to parties on yachts and twerking on the gram?
Nope.
Or am I going to pick the girl that is a little more modest, maybe has a private Instagram, that doesn't put herself out there like that, that isn't out at the clubs every weekend? If I'm a man with options, right, and I'm looking for not just a fuck buddy, but I'm looking for a wifey, a girl that could potentially be the mother to my children, and I gotta weigh my options.
You're not gonna choose that thought.
Who am I gonna pick? Obviously, I'll have fun with the thought. I'll fuck her.
I love thoughts.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. I love hoes. Like,
I love hoes.
Yeah, like hoes.
I really do.
Hoes are great to be fun, to be friends with, to party with, to be fuck buddies with. But when it comes to having a family and getting serious, I'm gonna choose the modest girl every time.
Right.
And that's what women don't understand. They think, okay, these guys want to party with me. These guys want to fuck me. That means they want a relationship. No, we don't. We don't.
We do not.
Just because you're fun to be around, just because we like having sex with you, does not mean we want a relationship with you. And that's what girls seem to misconstrue as sexual attraction and relationship attraction.
I know women who, in their mind, they don't see how men cannot be with one woman. And I tell women all the time, you don't understand what it is to have the level of testosterone.
Yo, they have no idea.
That and given there are a lot of men, because I'll give them that, there are a lot of men who don't have the same level of testosterone that we may have. I'm aware. Like, I need sex multiple times a week or I don't function.
I always tell women this, right? Because like women will always be like, oh, like why do you need to have sex so much, or all these different girls.
Mm-hmm.
They need to understand we have the average guy has between 10 to 50 times the testosterone of a normal woman.
Yep.
So I'm like, imagine, and not only that, but like, you know, like we wake up in the morning, we got morning wood.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready to go. So
yo,
open my eyes.
Literally, the second we wake up,
I'm ready.
We're rock hard. The first thing on our mind is sex. And I always tell girls this. Imagine you wake up in the morning, you're soaking wet, and all you could think about is dick from the second you wake up. That's how men feel every single day when it comes to girls. Like, we wake up rock hard, trying to smash.
Hold on. Let me add something.
A healthy man with a healthy level of testosterone.
And that's what I was going to say. Women say, because this is my whole theory. Oh, there are men out there that could be with one woman. Okay, I'll go with that. But I guarantee you, if we do blood work, that man does not have the same level of testosterone as I would. That man, because there are men who don't have high levels of testosterone that they're cool with having sex once a month. They may not be.
But not only that, but these men, I guarantee you, they're jerking off to porn. Guarantee.
Same thing as cheating.
Yo, listen. If a man is not physically cheating, he's jerking off to porn, which is mentally cheating.
That's even worse.
He's getting off on another girl. The only difference between a man that cheats and a man that watches porn is the man that cheats can actually
get women
in real life. But the man that watches porn, he's unable to attract other women, or even if he's not able to. See, this is the thing, that men are fake faithful.
Yeah, 100% fake faithful. Yep.
Because it's not that they want to be faithful, is that they're not attractive enough to be able to cheat easily.
Yeah.
And they're unwilling to put in
the
effort necessary to fuck other girls.
That's
right? So
true.
So like, if they were more attractive, like if you gave these faithful men $1 million and a Lambo and a blue check on Instagram, they'd be fucking models the next day. These niggas would not be faithful. The only reason they're faithful is because girls don't find them attractive. That's it. But guess what? They're still paying prostitutes. They're still jerking off to porn.
They're going to the spas.
Yeah, getting the happy ending.
On the way to work. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym. Yeah, right.
And that's why, like, women just need to understand that men are not biologically designed to sleep with one woman for the rest of their life. They're not. It's just, I know it's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of girls because, you know, they grow up watching these Disney movies and I'm gonna find my Prince Charming, live happily ever after. The real world doesn't work like that.
That's true.
And if you want a strong, dominant, successful man, guess what? He's probably going to cheat on you.
And let me say this. Unless he has a biological problem. Now, let me say this. Another issue that I see is men caping and capping. So what I don't like.
Caping and capping?
Caping and capping for these women. And a lot of these men are the conservative. These are the good guys, like guys that I want on my team, right? Conservative, family orientated, men of value, some high value, that say, no, but you know, it's just a discipline thing. You have to be disciplined to have, you have to have the respect for your woman to not be with other women. You're entering a sacred marriage. It's a vow. And besides getting deep into the religious and the word marriage and where it actually comes from, because believe me, that is my forte. That's what I want to get into. Besides doing that, what I ask is, okay, so because I'm not a pious Christian, and for those that don't know, pious Christians are the Christians that take whips and they beat themselves up, right? You know, the Christians that they physically torture themselves to say, yo, well, you know, Jesus did it, well, I'm going to do it too, right? He took this pain, I'm going to take this pain. I'm not a pious Christian. So I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm going to self-inflict damage on myself when I could get some buns and be happy and go about my life. And it's medically healthier for men who are sexually active than it is for men who are holding it in. And on a biological level, the reason why men don't have 20 children is because society, and specifically during the time that we're living in, is telling men, well, you can't afford children. Oh, women are making more money than men now. So now it's not even that you can't afford children. It's that women think they're men. So now you got to, it's like so many different things that is stopping men from being men. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to have a lot of children. I don't care if I'm dead broke. I'm still having a lot of children because there's nothing more important than family. I don't care what anyone says.
Not only family, but passing down your
bloodline,
your knowledge, and your genetics.
Mm-hmm.
That is extremely important.
Not to get into the, I don't even want to say Kanye West, but my man Kanye West, shout out to Kanye, he just trademarked the word use. The use community, they have a lot of children, right? They also do it in a way where I guess, I have a lot of Jewish friends and Jewish acquaintances, businessmen who I speak with on a daily basis. I'm a businessman and I'm in the game. And they're all cheating on their wives. And these are the religious guys. And these are the guys But they have a lot of children. They have a certain nature about them, but they're still men at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, see, this is my thing, is you can't outsmart God. You can't outsmart Mother Nature, the universe, whatever you want to believe in, whatever you want to call it, right? For the sake of conversation, let's say God.
Your host of Ben Yatsen, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want to say, right? So at the end of the day, you can't outsmart God, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are designed, like, men and women are clearly designed differently, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, in every way, right? And there's a reason why women can only get pregnant by one guy at a time, yet men can impregnate an infinite number of women at a time, right? We have no limit. As many nuts as we could bust, that's how many women we can impregnate, right?
Yep.
And it's like that for a reason, right? Like, you can't go against the natural design of God. Like, for example, men are naturally designed to be the dominant ones, and it's clear. Like, look at sex, right? We penetrate the woman doesn't penetrate us, right? We penetrate them. Not only that, but look at our physicality, where men, generally speaking, are bigger and stronger than most women, right? Not 100% of the time, but
95% of the time.
Majority speaking, the average guy is going to be bigger and stronger than the average woman, right? Not only bigger and stronger, but scientifically, we have denser bones. We have more testosterone, which makes us more aggressive. We have more fast twitch muscle fibers. We have more dexterity, right? Even like certain things like video games that require no physical strength. Men are better than women at video games, right? We have better hand-eye coordination.
Right.
Everything needed to provide and protect, men have naturally, right?
Yes.
And that is from the design of God, of the universe, of evolution, whatever you want to believe in, right? We're naturally designed to be the leaders, to be the dominant ones, to be the providers and protectors. And women, they have their strength as well, right? Like, a man can't raise a newborn baby and nurture it the way a woman can,
Can't
right?
do it.
Men can't give birth. Women can, right? We each have our pros and our cons. We each have our strengths and our weaknesses, the yin and the yang, right? We balance and
we complement one another.
Yes, we balance and complete each other. And that's why it's so ridiculous to me when women are saying, oh, I can do what a man can do, and oh, this, like, yo, like, we each have our roles that is designed by God, and it's going to be more effective and efficient if we each just play our role. You be the nurturer, you be the soft energy, I'll be the disciplinarian, I'll be the one providing and protecting, because that's what we are better at individually.
Right.
And we come together and it creates a family, it creates a whole. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
I can't do what a woman can do, and a woman can't do what I can do, and that's okay. It shouldn't have to be, oh, I can do what you can do, you can do what I can. It shouldn't have to be that. We're a team, right? Just how we played football. there's different positions, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you took a lineman and put him at quarterback and put the quarterback and put him at lineman, can they do a decent job? Sure, maybe, right? Maybe, but it's not optimal.
Right.
It's not optimal.
It's not the best
right?
position.
The person that's been throwing their whole lives and has a natural ability to throw a ball should be at quarterback.
Right.
The person who's physically bigger and stronger should be at lineman,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, it's just what you're naturally good at is what you're going to excel at better. Can you learn to play a different position? Sure, you can, but it's not optimal.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In life, you should always play to your strengths. Always play to your strengths. When you try to focus on your weaknesses and improving your weaknesses, your strengths will diminish. Focus on your strengths, ignore your weaknesses, and get good at what you're already naturally
good at.
Yeah, naturally good at.
Yeah, I agree. I see. I seen a lot of people who what they decide to do is kind of, I'm going to improve on what I'm bad at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bad at getting girls. Well, I mean, you should improve on your ability to approach women, but that's gonna come over time as you grow, as you work on the fundamental things that will make you an attractive man.
Yeah.
Now, here's something that I've noticed. I've noticed that I don't necessarily see women really self-improving as much as men. And what that has caused in the dating market, in my opinion, is a bunch of men that are, as they get older, as they become more successful, they're seeing, well, these women, they're not bringing nothing to the table. You're a trainer. You have a lot of women around you. Are you having, like, this is real world experience now, like, are you seeing a lot of these women married? Do you like, are majority of your clients married? Are majority of your clients looking for husbands? Do they have the mind state of wives? I mean, you deal with more women than the average individual on a daily basis. So what is your in depth, I guess, your observations?
Well, I would say my clients are a little different in the sense that the fact that they're even investing in their fitness kind of sets them apart, because most girls won't do that.
Right.
So that right there already kind of sets them apart in a certain sense, where they're willing to invest in their health, in their fitness, in the way they look, in the way they feel, right?
Right.
So they're already a little different. But yeah, I mean, I try to give them advice without imposing.
Right.
I try to help them whenever I can. With a lot of them will literally come to me and just flat out ask me, "Hey, what do you think of this? I'm in this situation with this guy. I did this, and that." I think that, at least I'm just speaking from my clients, they have, I don't want to say the right mindset. They have the right intentions, but they're just so misled. It's just
been lied to for so long, huh?
Bro, it's just everywhere. Social media, music, movies, other single girls around them, even their family, man. Like, they're just getting so much bad advice from all these different angles that it's almost impossible for them to resist that. And women tend to be more communitarian, tend to follow what the group is doing a little more than men do. So it's really difficult for women to go against the grain of everything they're being told. So, like, I feel for them, and I try to give them the best advice I can without being too imposing. But yeah, man, they're just getting really, really bad advice and really, really bad programming.
What advice would you give women who are looking to find a man? Now, caveat, the advice, let's say, to 30-year-old women who have no children, who have body counts that they're ashamed of but will never tell you. What advice would you give the women who are in those situations?
30, no kids, and a body count they're ashamed of.
Yes.
Honestly, I would tell them, fuck your career. Fuck how much money you're making right now. Focus on being the most feminine and cooperative woman that you can be. Present yourself in a modest light. Take down any thirst traps you may have on social media, and really think about the type of woman that you would want your son with, or your little brother with, or a male in your life that you care about. Think about the type of girl you would want them with, and emulate that.
Can I say this? I think that these women who have these attributes that I just described, I think that they should not be in the best positions as far as getting the best caliber men, because, and they usually don't. So I'm not saying like I wish this upon them. I wish everyone to be happy. However, the outcomes that I see, I think that women don't understand that you can't just erase your past, and you can't erase the subtleties of being promiscuous and having the character, the mind state to be promiscuous.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of these women who have had a lot of sex partners in the past, they end up single.
Yeah.
They do end up, a lot of people end up in relationships and married and in situationships, whatever. However, they know that the men that they're with isn't the primary option that they would be with.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think that they become complacent with, where when you speak to 40-year-old, 50-year-old women who are in happy marriages, and especially in the Latin community, you'll meet these, overweight, not really taking care of themselves, 45, 50, 55, 60-year-old women who are, oh, life is good. I married at 40. You could do it. You could be good. You're going to be okay. Ma'am, you are overweight, which means somewhere along your path, your journey, you stop focusing on your inner peace, your inner love, your inner self,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that you're a reflection of the beauty you want to portray to the world. Not saying that fat people aren't beautiful within, just saying that they stop caring about themselves. If you have a body count of, in my opinion, I'm different, +1 and above, yo, you're not wifey.
Yeah.
I'm at the top. I'm marrying virgins. That literally all my wives virgins. You're not a virgin, you ain't my wife. Like you just can't. You're not that. Biblically, I'm with the Bible. I go by what the Bible says.
Right.
So hey, it is what it is. So you have +1 bodies. Some people, let's say 5. To be realistic, let's say you have 10 bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys will deal with that. 10 bodies. You're not bonding. So the man that you're with, you're probably with them for financial reasons. A lot of people are in the relationships for the financial benefit, not necessarily the loving aspect. They grow into love because they kind of become complacent. But they're not necessarily there because they actually love. It's not their first love.
Right.
When you're with a virgin and she loves you, you respect her, and you're with her, she's going to give you the most precious thing that she can give you, which is her youth, her fertility, who she is, her hymen.
Mm-hmm.
It's the sacred act of consummation, sex.
Yep.
Right? That's the most important thing a woman can give to any man.
Facts.
So for women to be giving this away and then saying, on the back end, oh, well, I'm going to give it to whoever this guy is, but then I'm going to have sex with the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. I know deep down inside, before they allowed that first guy to hit, they thought about twice. They said, damn, is this the right choice? And they all resent it.
And the thing is that mentally, it's not natural for a woman to just sleep around, right? So like, contraceptives is a recent invention, right? It's been around, what, like 50 years, something like that. Like before that, when you had sex with a guy, he was going to be the father to your children, right?
Yep.
You were going to get pregnant,
Mhm.
right? 9 out of 10 times. So women were much more selective about who they had sex with because they could be attached to that man for the rest of their lives.
Yep.
But with this new invention of contraceptives
And abortions.
and abortions as well, now they can have sex indiscriminately and not suffer the repercussions in terms of having a child, but they're not aware of the mental repercussions, right?
Spiritual pain.
Yeah,
that they
spiritual, mental, biological, because you're not mentally built and designed to have all these sexual partners. So when you do, it impairs your ability to bond with the man. And when you do find a guy you like and the relationship hits, a rocky ground, you're much more likely to be like, all right, well, I've had better dick before. I'm gonna leave and find a better guy with better dick and more money or whatever, because they've had all these men before that they can compare you to.
That's why men with good dick are homemakers.
Yeah.
This is my theory. I have a theory where I think that there's two. I have like two theories when it comes to this. I have one theory is men who give good sex to a woman who has a fat butt. If you give good sex to her, she's gonna keep her fat butt. But if you don't, if you're like a dude who you're not that guy, she's gonna lose her butt. It's just something that I seen.
Is that why all my girls' asses get fatter?
Yeah, that's what
why?
I honestly, brother, this is like my, subtle observation.
Okay.
Right? That's what I think. The other thing is, I think that men who are prone to getting girls and have good sex with women and can, please women and know about how to please women and this and that, I think that those men are the homemakers.
Right.
That women subconsciously desire those men, and they find that specific trait in they're looking for that. Mm-hmm. So you go deep in the chick, I say if you touch their soul, they're going to be looking for another man to touch that soul, and they'll go from dick to dick to dick to dick to find that, plus whatever delusional thoughts that they want to find the Prince Charming. And that's one of the reasons that causes them to have multiple guys where one guy pays the rent, one guy's for dick, one guy's for...
You made a great point. So that's exactly what women do. So a certain part of me, I feel for women. I understand, because there isn't a lot of good options, at least nowadays, in terms of men, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of men are soft, weak, fucking...
broke
little bitches, basically, right? So what women will do is, because it's so difficult to find a guy that has everything in one package, women will delegate. All right, I got one guy who he's a bitch, but he's a good listener. He's my emotional tampon. He's the guy that I vent to, that I talk about my issues with, and he's there listening to me, but I never fuck him, right? Then they have another guy who isn't a good listener, doesn't give a fuck about them, but has good dick. Right. All right. So he's the dick appointment guy. Then they have another guy who's the money guy who spoils them, takes them to fancy dinners and flies them out and this and that. Right. So they'll have different guys for different categories, because it's so difficult to find one man that has everything in one. Right. And regardless of how many men a woman has, every woman would prefer to have one guy that has all those attributes.
I've always said it.
But the problem is most guys don't. And that's why I tell men it's important to be as well-rounded as possible and try to have as much of these attributes as possible. Be the guy that has good dick. Be the guy that's able to communicate with a woman. Be the guy that has his money on point and is able to spoil a woman if she's earned it and deserves it. Mm-hmm. That's very important.
Very important.
So, be the guy that's able to do all those things in one, and she will never go to another guy.
Let me say this.
Because women are actually monogamous by nature.
Yes.
The thing is that they can't find a guy that satisfies all their needs, and that's why they go to different men.
Let me say this, and this is something that a lot of men need to understand, because they're not thinking about it. Women in the United States are a bit different because they are spoiled, right? They have they're not only are they spoiled, but they're also brainwashed. They're into They want the lifestyle. They don't necessarily care about the man. They care about the lifestyle and what you can provide, which is their biological nature. This is how women are biologically. So, what I say to men is that if you can't be completely broke and get girls, because, bro, we was broke
Yeah.
and we were smashing. And there were dudes like Ryan Free. Shout out to Ryan Free if he's anywhere in the
Yo,
world.
shout out Ryan Free.
Yo, he wasn't getting no buns. That thing made
He was clapping zero cheeks.
zip. So there are men who they go their whole lives not getting buns until they meet that one nerdy chick or that one semi-fat girl who give them play, who they could, kind of be with her, blah, blah, blah. I don't count. Matter of fact, I don't smash fat women. Like, I mean, whatever. Controversy, cancel me. Like, I don't like Lizzos. Like, I never will, never have.
So you won't get no sloppy toppy from Lizzo?
Nah. Because I could get sloppy toppy from a girl who don't look like Lizzo.
Facts.
I'd rather pay a stripper who doesn't look like Lizzo to give me sloppy toppy than to get free sloppy toppy from Lizzo. That's just me. Some men, they I don't know. Some dudes, they don't care what it is. They close their eyes and they just.
Yep.
That may be the right thing to do, but I'm not the right guy for that. You know what I'm saying?
But it's because you have options. You've built yourself up to a certain point where you don't need to settle for that.
Right.
But a lot of guys, it's like, all right, I either jerk off to porn or I get head from Lizzo. They're gonna choose head from Lizzo.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And if in that situation, I can't really fault them.
Women are in a position of power, in the sense that a lot of women are going to college more than men, making more money than men, and unfortunately, they're taking care of men more than men are taking care of men, in the sense that there's a lot of single parent households where women have the majority of the role, where they're taking on two roles. For women that are out there being mothers and trying to supposedly be fathers, what advice would you give them, and what would you tell them not to do?
What advice would I give to single mothers?
Yes.
So, most of my clients are single mothers, right? And first of all, like, in a certain regard, I have to give them their props. You know, I have girls that train with me that work, some of them work 2 jobs, raise kids, and come work out, right? So I got to give them their props.
I don't feel bad for them.
No, but I have to give them their props in that sense, but they need to understand, what they don't understand is that your kids need a father figure. Kids need a strong masculine figure in their life. And it's always best if it's the biological father. And women think that, oh, like, I'm not happy in this relationship, let me just leave.
The grass is greener on the other side.
I'll find another guy. That, like, it doesn't always work out that way.
Almost never. And statistically speaking, once you take the kids away from their biological father, I mean, the chances double, triple, quadruple of them ending up in jail, ending up homeless, and ending up as drug addicts, because mothers simply are just not built to be disciplinarians in the way that a father is, right? They say a father's job is to keep their daughter off a stripper pole and the son out of jail. Right.
So the father's job is to be that strong disciplinarian. Like, growing up, I mean, I wasn't really scared of my mom. I was scared of my dad, though.
Right.
When I acted up and my mom couldn't handle me, she'll be like, wait till your dad gets home.
Yeah, Theo was the disciplinarian.
Yeah, wait till your dad gets home. And then I would act right. I'd be like, no, don't tell Papi. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so, like.
Same here.
Yeah,
Same here.
My dad was a disciplinarian. My dad was the one I was afraid of, not necessarily my mom. So I could just imagine growing up without that strong father figure, man. Like, yo, I was wilding. I was wilding even with him. I could just imagine without my dad.
Man,
I would have been a menace. I would have been a straight up menace, bro.
I can vouch for that. You know, growing up without a father, my dad. I mean, I had a dad. I had a father, My father was the, in my opinion, best father in the world. You know, he lived in another country, showed me the ropes, was always on the phone, so forth and so on. I always give respects and due to my father. This was my inheritance. I love my father. Uh, what I realized, not having my father early on, something that my mother did, being a woman who was here in this country alone, didn't have my dad's support. She made sure that I had men in my life, whether it was my football coaches, men that she knew, you know, people at churches and whatever. She would take me to churches, temples, synagogues. It didn't matter if it was religious. My mom wanted me involved, right? But mostly churches. And what I will say is that I'm very grateful for the mentorship that I received from your dad, from the coaches, from my trainers, specifically Sam Garnes. I mean, he was here today.
Yeah.
NFL guy.
That's amazing.
NFL coach in my network.
That's if I come in here and y'all literally just here chilling, talking like he's just a normal guy. No. Mind you, this is a ex NFL player. Like this is like, and he's just here chilling with you, man. Like, and that's one thing I give you props for, is that you're such a genuine guy. And that's one thing that I've always admired about you, is that you're so genuine, you're so pure. You genuinely want to help people. You genuinely want to be a good influence on other people, that people just gravitate towards you. Like, you could literally strike up a conversation with anybody at any time over anything.
Right.
And just relate to them. And that's one thing that I genuinely like I appreciate about you and I admire about you, is that
appreciate that.
Yo, you just get everybody just likes you, man. Like,
right. I don't have enemies.
Yeah, everybody likes you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think that I attribute that to my mom. I attribute, most of my characters to my mom.
Your mom was one of the wisest women I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah.
The fact that she was wise enough to, raising you alone, wise enough to put these because you had your dad, but he wasn't always there. So she was wise enough to put these father figures, these masculine figures in your life for you to look up to and emulate. That's very important for a young boy growing up. Yeah,
very wise.
And a lot of women don't know that, but your mother knew that.
A lot of women despise men.
Yeah,
and
it's crazy.
Because they do that, they keep their children around their friends, usually women, which end up effeminizing men.
Yep.
So men tend to become more feminine because all they see, those small visual cues, the leaning a certain way, the bending of the wrist, the little subtle things, the movements that women make, it ultimately affects children because they are a reflection of what they see. They're new here. They're new in this paradigm, so they don't know what's going on. So the only thing that they know is, oh, well, if she behaves like that, then I'm going to behave like that. Whereas if there's a he in the picture and, a man in the picture, the child would say, well, maybe acting like a girl or playing with dolls isn't the thing. Maybe I'm going to go play with my father who's out there playing basketball or fixing the car. Just doing things that are more masculine or more towards what we would. I mean, I have zero interest in playing with toys. I'm more interested in what would happen if I were to take, this white powder, let's say salt, and I was to add water. Or if I was to add soda, what if I added a broccoli in there? What if I'm more curious with regards to how does that work and how does the car turn on than I am how to sit there and make a sandwich.
Right.
Or playing with dolls and playing house. And
right.
So my mom put me in position where I was around men. And because I was around men, and her telling me, make sure you learn from those around you. That was a thing. Make sure I learn from those around me. Make sure that I'm, respectful. Blah blah blah. All these traits. My mom instilled that in me since I was young, and I think that that's what carried me through life and to where I am today. You know, where I do feel very confident in having conversations with other people. And one of the biggest things, in my opinion, that helped my confidence was my ability to learn, my ability to read. Because when I was young, I never was, I wasn't the smartest man in the room. However, I believed that. So I told myself, I'm not that smart. But in my mind, I was saying, but I understand things. So how come I can't say that I'm smart? Why am I not being told? No one ever told me you're smart. It wasn't until I believed it within myself. And funny story, my freshman and sophomore year, up until that time, I didn't know that I can see. So I didn't know that I needed glasses, and we didn't have money for me to go to a doctor and, kind of like see. I could squint and kind of make do, right? But I didn't know that I really needed glasses. So long story short, my mom's insurance, I was able to go to a eye doctor that checked me out, and I found out I needed glasses. Didn't know. They gave me glasses. I didn't wear them. I waited until I got contacts. The first day, I was 17 years old. This was October. During the same kind of time period, I got glasses for the first time. No, yeah, it was October, and I got and I had my contacts on, and I remember going to school and saying, "Wow, that girl got a nice butt," because I was able to see.
Yeah.
So I wasn't squinting anymore. Now I was like, "Wow, she's really pretty." Like I was able to see facial expressions, and now I can relate more.
Mm-hmm.
So where before I had to kind of act like I knew what was going on, now I can actually see what was going on, and however it trained my mind to receive information, since that day forward, that's the first time that I would honestly say in my life that I felt that I'm actually now learning. Because I was also part of the cool kids. So I sat in the back of the classroom, but I couldn't see. So my grades weren't the best. Not because I wasn't smart, but because I was the cool kid, so I'm in the back and I couldn't see.
But you also gotta question what you're basing your intellect off of. Are you basing it off of your grades in school? Because technically, I mean, the most successful people, like, there's a saying that C grade students hire A grade students to work in their business.
Yeah.
Right? Most successful entrepreneurs were C grade students growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because it's not that we weren't smart enough to get good grades, is that either we didn't care or we didn't think the knowledge was going to benefit us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're like, people who are entrepreneurs tend to be more practical. So it's like, all right, like, the fuck am I learning this for? Like, how is this going to benefit me in the real world?
Right.
Like, learning some crazy ass math and trigonometry, like, yo, there's calculators. Like, if I need to add up some numbers, I can do that on my calculator on my phone in the real world.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to need to learn all this complex algebra and shit to be successful. You get what I'm saying?
100%. It's not the 60s or 40s or 1900s where you had to actually sit there and do the physical math.
Right.
Now we could just put it in the calculator, get the result, get the answers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd go as far as saying we can go on ChatGPT nowadays.
Yep.
I don't believe in the school system like they did. I think everyone needs to study and have the characteristics to want to learn. Mm-hmm. I think that's very important. That's the most important characteristic a man can have. Women also, I think they need to want to have that desire to learn. However, we have ChatGPT. Why would I say, bro, I have no interest in trying to learn how to do anything. I don't care. I am ChatGPT in it because it already has the answer. Give me the fundamentals. If I'm interested enough, I will go and dig deeper and get the more in-depth knowledge, but it's not necessary anymore.
But that's intelligence. That's what's called working smarter, not harder.
Yep.
Right? Like, why work harder when you can work smarter, right? When you can use a calculator, use ChatGPT, use tools accessible to you to aid you in success quicker, right? So you don't have to focus. Like for example, like you could use ChatGPT to create copyright for you,
Right.
right? For an ad or a landing page or whatever, or even emails. So instead of you having to physically do that, use ChatGPT, and then now you can use your natural talents and abilities on what you're good at, where some things that an AI cannot do. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So like that would be the smarter thing to do, right? Because once you get to a certain point, you need to allocate your time wisely, and you need to delegate the things that you can get other people or other technology to do.
Let me switch in topics, kind of like a serious note. Uh, Today, unfortunately, there's a war going on. We have the war in Ukraine with Russia that's been happening. We also now have the war with Palestine and Israel,
Mhm.
something that took place today. Uh, you know, I was someone who I thought my mission and purpose in life was to save the world. I had this, and to a degree, I still have, like this Yeshua complex where I have this knowledge in my mind and I want to share it, and I know it's going to save the world because I believe in peace, I believe in happiness, I believe in, all these wonderful things. And as I grew, I realized that there are people out there in the world who these are literal killers. There are people out there who are mentally ill. My brother Floyd, he was murdered
Yeah.
by someone who was schizophrenic, who unfortunately ended taking the life of my brother. Right? So it put me in a place of practical, kind of a practical place in my mind. When we lost Dia, Caesar's mom, these realities at a young age kind of impacted me like, wow, here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
And war happens to be one of those situations where when I tend not to try to think about it because it's a horrible thought. And a lot of times people are biased or they want to pick it's like we kind of tend to look at it like a football game, Giants versus the Jets. You're gonna either be with the Giants or be with the Jets. However, I've grown to kind of just see lives, and there's a lot of lives being lost, a lot of people suffering, a lot of families being destroyed, people being displaced. Regardless of whether the life is lost due to a noble cause or if they're the enemy, because the enemy of your enemy is really a friend of your enemy, or basically what I'm saying is, Israel may be looking at the situation and saying Palestine is the enemy. Palestine is looking at Israel like they're the enemy. And when you just look at people individually and their family, everyone is really trying to push their family forward, have a better quality of life, help the world in a certain way, so forth and so on. So people on an individual level really aren't benefiting from this war. So my question for you, my cousin Primo, someone who I've always known to have a big heart, someone who has genuinely helped me. I'm a product of your teaching, of your help throughout my life. What are your thoughts when you see these wars? Uh, what is it from someone who's not in government? You're not sitting here studying the in-depth things that are happening in war, right?
Mm-hmm.
But from your opinions and your life experience, do you see a solution to war, or is it a necessary evil?
I mean, having knowledge can be a gift and a curse, man. And when I see all these things happening in the world, I know, like knowing what I know, there are powers that be that are behind the scenes
Mm-hmm.
that are pulling the strings, that are calling the shots. right? The world is a big stage, and I've kind of removed myself from that stage, from that show. So I don't really, although I am aware of everything that's happening, I don't concern myself too deeply on things that I do not have control over, right? Like, I will be aware of things, I will have knowledge on things, I will have opinions on things, but what my real focus on is what I can control in my day-to-day life. Because at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. Because worrying about what's happening in the Middle East, but yet you don't have a good relationship with your parents, or you don't have a good relationship with your kids, or your health is not on point. Like, worry about the things that you can control first. Get your life in order first. Then you can worry about shit that's happening on the other side of the world.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, like, that's where I want people to focus on, because a lot of times people will, for example, like, if you have somebody that's like, oh, I'm gonna help all these kids in Africa, but yet they can barely pay the bills themselves, or they don't have a good relationship with their family. It's like, what are you doing? Like, take care of the immediate things first. Take care of, like, you can't pour from an empty cup. So take care of your life, of yourself first. Get yourself and your life in order. Make sure everybody around you, all your loved ones and friends, are good. And once that is accomplished, if it's ever accomplished, then you can worry about the war that's going on over here or what's going on over there, right? Because unless you're in a position of power, or somebody that has a lot of money that can actually do something, you can't really make any difference on what's going on, right? You can be knowledgeable and you can inform people, like, hey, this might happen, be prepared for this or whatever, but at the end of the day, focus on what you can control. While it's good to be observant and aware of what's going on, don't let it consume you. You know what I mean? Don't let it consume you to the point where you neglect your day-to-day obligations as a man or as a woman, where you neglect your family, you neglect your work. Like, take care of yourself first, then worry about what anything outside of yourself secondary.
Okay. My next question. Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is, you know who Andrew Tate is, successful.
Top G.
The top G, right? Is there anything that Andrew Tate says that you don't agree with, or that you would modify, or that you would like to ask him to expound upon his ideology with regards to success, dating, business, and just overall being a better man? Is there anything that Andrew Tate has that you would add to or disagree with?
I mean, I pretty much agree with most of the things he says. I understand that, he words things a certain way in order to garner attention and clicks and views. So I get that. Where a lot of people who aren't as knowledgeable might get offended by some of the things he says. I don't get offended by anything.
Me neither. I think.
Yeah, I don't get offended by nothing.
I love what he says.
Yeah, and I understand why he says things the way he says. Now, recently, obviously, he's kind of toned down certain things,
right,
with everything he got going on.
As he should.
As he should, yeah, and I understand that and I respect that. I honestly think he's a great role model and example.
A net positive.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, I don't agree with 100%, but 90. Like, I believe as a man, you should never agree 100% with anybody.
Right.
If you agree 100% with somebody, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Because that shows that
you're a yes man.
Yeah, you have no independent, critical thinking skills. Right. Like, you could agree 98%, even 99%. But
should you agree with anything that Hitler's ever said?
I could agree with anything that anybody's ever said.
Okay, cool. That was a trick question. Yeah. I'm just throwing
it don't matter.
Hot fire.
It don't matter who it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if somebody has a good idea or a good thought, I'm gonna separate the messenger from the message.
Right.
And I'm gonna look at the message. Like, does this make sense?
Now, that's something that women apparently have a hard time doing, because it's not what you said, it's how you said it. So you could be saying something that, hey man, this is making complete sense, but because of how you said it, it may not necessarily hit the mark that you wanted to hit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so another question for you. Uh, you're into knowledge, right? You have helped many people that I even know. We were just speaking about a friend of ours that you've helped that I seen his growth. What is the and maybe it may not be the most profound, like your jewel, your one jewel that you may not want to give away, but I would ask, what is the one piece of knowledge that you would say that is your golden nugget, the one piece of information that you hold as your cornerstone to who you are as a man, who you are as a person, the foundation of your knowledge, the core of your ideological view on the world? What is that, and can you go in and explain to me and the audience what that is?
Damn, that's a lot to unpack there.
Go in, man. We got time.
That's very vague, though. Can you get a little
I'll
more
give you
little more specific with it? Like, are we talking about?
I'll give you mine, and then you.
Like, are we talking about general life advice? Are we talking about women, money? Are we like, what are we talking about here?
I'm gonna give you mine.
Okay.
The one thing in my life that I think that I can add to the world, the one piece of knowledge that is this is what I'm great at. This is who I am. The message that I really want to drive home. My piece of information that I'm the best at. Nobody could deliver this. This is me. It is, I know how the government works. I know how the world works.
Okay.
On a historical, logical basis. I'm an apperceptionist. That's the title of my show.
I like that.
I am a master at knowing the absolute truth.
Right.
Right? I know where electricity comes from for real. It ain't no joke. Right? So in my mind, my greatest piece of knowledge that I have, I want people to know that a state law, trust law, positive law, natural law, statutory law is the most important knowledge you can learn, because even what you put into your mouth to consume has laws. So law as a foundation, in my eyes, is the epitome, the epitome of knowledge.
Okay.
So that's, I could go in on any topic on the planet, but my base is law.
Right. I get what you're saying now.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so for me, it would have to be, I understand universal laws.
Cool.
I understand how the universe really works and how nothing in your life is an accident or is by chance. Everything that's happened to you, good or bad, you created, whether in this lifetime or a past lifetime, right? I understand that the universe is eternally just. Even though on the surface it may appear unjust, it is eternally just, and karma, or the law of cause and effect, whatever you want to call it, is a real thing. It's a real thing. Nothing you do, whether it's in private or in public, is secret. Everything is being recorded, everything is being seen, everything is energy and vibration, and everything you send out into the universe inevitably will come back to you at some point. Could be in a minute from now, could be in a year, could be in 100 years. But everything you send out will come back to you. Karma is real, the law of cause and effect is real, universal laws are in place, and everything that happens to you, whether good or bad, was your own creation.
Let me ask this question. Philosophical, deep, nonetheless a question I think you can handle. Masturbation. right? Throughout history, some cultures say that if you masturbate, it's a negative thing. There's some cultures that say masturbation is a good thing. There's some religious texts that say masturbating is like having sex with a demon, or they literally say it's having sex with a demon, and so forth and so on, right? In the aspect of it being life, we get the model that, oh, well, these are spermatozoa and they are living things. They are a part of you. Maybe they are you, and they're in there swimming around, right? Lives. They're seeds. Masturbation, some may say, is kind of like abortion. Masturbating, not impregnating millions of dead potential children.
Mm-hmm.
Is that in the laws, the foundation of law, in the existence of things? Is that I don't know, is that bad?
I wouldn't. See, that's kind of tricky.
Because let me just add this. I don't necessarily, and I don't know, I'm not a zoologist or I don't know all about animals, but I don't necessarily see birds, and other kind of animals. I mean, there are monkeys who masturbate, but I don't necessarily in general just see like animals masturbating. Maybe they do in private, and I just don't know.
Well, dolphins are technically the only other living creatures that fornicate purely for pleasure, besides human beings.
Okay, very interesting. I know.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say masturbation is evil. It's definitely something that should be controlled.
Are we losing energy? Are we losing a sense of self when we release?
Yeah, you are. You're gonna be a lot more energetic. You're gonna be a lot more focused.
Are celibate men and men who perhaps practice a faith where they don't masturbate, do they live? Do you think that they may live longer? Are they preserving? Is there a is there like a legitimate reason why men should not masturbate?
No, I mean, so all right, so
I agree with you.
You shouldn't masturbate because
of lust,
and also what are you masturbating to? Right, you're masturbating to porn most likely. Like for me, for example, like I rarely ever masturbate, and if I do, it's to my own videos. I don't look at porn. Right. I look at my own shit.
Right.
And if you're a
likewise,
and if you're a man and you don't have your own shit, that means you're not getting enough buns.
Yeah, you need to get your game up.
Yeah.
Facts.
And as a my thing is that you have to earn your nut, right? You have to earn your nut, right?
To that.
So like if you're masturbating to porn, that's a cheap nut. You haven't earned that, right? Like you have to earn the pleasure in your life because instant gratification is the biggest killer of men and just people in general. Instant gratification will fuck you up. Wow. You must learn to discipline your gratifications and earn them, right? If you were able to smash a baddie, you earned that nut, right? Because guess what? You had to approach her, whether it was through a dating app or whether it's in person, whatever. You had to approach her. You had to spit game. You probably had to take her on a date.
You had to become an attractive male, which is a journey in itself.
You had to be physically attractive, which means you were well-groomed, well-dressed. You probably hit the gym. Your body's on point, right? Like, there's a lot of work you had to put in to smash that baddie. Right. So you earned that nut. So enjoy that nut. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's some people that are extreme, like, oh, don't nut at all. Fuck out of here. If I bag a baddie,
it's not healthy, by the way.
I'm busting the biggest nut because I earned that shit. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
But in terms of masturbation, you didn't really earn that nut. You get what I'm saying? Now,
100%.
I will say this, though. I would rather guys masturbate
than pay
instead of making bad decisions in terms of maybe going back to a toxic ex or maybe smashing a bitch that's gonna get them trapped, or you know what I mean, doing some dumb shit, or paying, right? Like if the choice is either masturbation or doing something that could potentially ruin your life, then masturbate.
You don't go to strip clubs, or do you go to strip clubs?
Extremely rare.
Very rare.
I don't go to strip clubs unless I am.
Do you support hoes?
Yo, listen. I don't really enjoy strip clubs. I don't go to strip clubs often. The only times I'll go is, let's say I'm traveling with my boys and they're all dragging me to one.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then, I'll be like, all right, I'll go for you.
Right.
But it's not like I'm making plans like, oh, it's Friday night, let's go to the strippy. Like, yeah. I don't do that.
There are dudes that do that.
I know.
And it's weird, man. I think that
I don't do that. I think I have. All right, so this is another thing that I really want to talk about. That I really want to touch. That
yeah.
I think that this what's a lot of men are lacking. It's so important for men to make a code of conduct for your life. And it's important you make this code for yourself. See, society, religion, your family, they'll try to impose rules upon you. But as a strong man, you're not going to listen to anybody but yourself. So it's very important. Make your own code of conduct. I have rules that I follow.
Me
right,
too.
in my life. And one of them is I will never pay for box. Ever. Never. I don't give a fuck how desperate I mean, I'm never going to get to that point, obviously. But, like, the point is that, like, even if somehow, some way I was at that point where, like, I ain't get box in years or some shit, I'm going to just jerk off. Like, I ain't paying for no girl to smash me.
Fact.
If it's not genuine attraction, I don't want it. Like,
I'm 110,000,000,000% on board.
Yo, like, so, like, this one thing that I really want to get across to men is have a code of conduct for your life. In every area of your life, like, you should have a code of conduct for the way you conduct business. You should have a code of conduct with the way you interact with women. You should have a code of conduct with the way you interact with your family or just society at large. Like, have rules for yourself and follow them, and punish yourself when you don't abide by those rules. Like, let's say you have a rule where you're going to work a certain amount of hours per day, right? Or let's say for women, right, never double text a girl or something like that. Like, I have these rules, like, and these rules come from my knowledge of human nature and also just research I've done.
Give me some of your rules. Give me some of the rules.
In what category?
In girls.
Okay, so one of my rules is the first date is always something casual. It's never anything expensive, right? Like, I don't do dinner dates the first date. A girl has to earn that, right? So if we're going to first date, it's going to be a casual bar, grab a drink, maybe bowling, shooting pool, something like that. But I ain't taking no girl on no expensive dinner date on the first date. Hell no, you haven't earned that. I don't even know if I like you. Like, you don't deserve that yet.
If I don't eat expensive steak, right? I'm not paying for you to have an expensive steak. And I have money. So it's not like can't afford it. If I don't go out and have a $300 meal, why would I go out and get a $300 meal for you? I don't know you.
And not only that, but it's just a bad idea for a first date, man. Like, you're going to get the girl full.
You're not getting boxed like that.
Yeah, girls don't want to smash when they're full. Not only that, but it's too much like an interview. Like, you're sitting across from each other. It's not organic. It's not genuine. It's like, oh, tell me about yourself. But like, if
same boring questions.
Yeah, but if you're doing something fun, like you're playing pool, or let's say you take her to Top Golf or something, you have genuine interaction, and you also have the ability to break the touch barrier naturally. Whereas on a dinner date, you can't do that, right? You can't reach across and just touch her. That's weird, right? You can't do that. But if you're doing something that's naturally physical, like shooting pool or something, you can break the touch barrier naturally and organically where she feels comfortable and escalate things from there.
I'm gonna say this with regards to women. There are women who they think like men, and they want to get right to business. You know what you want, they want. However, you got to pay them for what they want.
Oh, hell no.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. There are men, and I've seen this with my own eyes, who pay for box and think they're the man because they're paying for box when they're actually being used. These women, I know women who've done this, who will ask a guy, oh, pay for my flight, get flown out, arrive, and ghost the guy.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh wait, hold on, what's going on? I thought I was gonna get buns. No, brother, you're a simp. You're being used, right?
And to be honest, like, those women are trash, but at the same time, like, I don't feel bad for those men either.
No, I don't feel bad for them
dude,
at all.
what the fuck are you doing? Like, why did you think that just giving a girl money for something, you're gonna automatically get boxed? Like, no, it doesn't work like that. Like, yo, I've had girls literally come straight to my house from dates where a guy
I've had the same thing.
where a guy paid $200-$300 for an expensive dinner, drinks, all that. She gives him a kiss on the cheek and then comes to my crib and gives me sex for free. I did nothing. I didn't pay a single penny. I didn't even leave the comfort of my own home, and I'm clapping those cheeks while this nigga, he got all dressed up, spent all his hard-earned money, and got nothing.
Let me say this. Hold on. Strippers do that on a daily basis. They go to a club, shake their bum, then go home to their man who's whatever DJ or the security guard or whatever rapper or whatever artist or whoever is in their circle, the highest bidder, the biggest simp, right? Like the biggest masculine simp, because there's such things as masculine simps.
There is.
That's the best way I could describe it, right? These guys, they're gonna go back to those guys who. Those guys are I'm paying the rent. I'm the whatever. They're the guys who are big alpha dudes who are with these strippers, and these strippers are false dreaming these other guys who are paying for interactions which, depending on how much money they're willing to spend on the woman that night, can turn out to be like dates.
Yeah, but like my thing is, I'm not even talking about strippers. I'm talking about regular girls.
I know.
Like, cause yo,
scary. It's the same thing.
Because these strippers, like, bro, you just stupid. Like, if you're investing in a stripper, you're just dumb. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But is these regular girls? They're doing the same shit.
The girls on listen.
The girls that you would never expect.
I'm gonna tell you what. And I'm not gonna lie. She's a model, so maybe she's far out of every other random regular dude's league, so I'm just gonna say that. This model chick I went on a date with, this must have been 2000 and I don't know, 18 maybe, 2018, 2019, around that time.
Where'd that go?
Model, took her to Central Park.
Okay.
You know me, B. I ain't with it. I'm not gonna get
walk in the park. Walk in the park.
We walk in the park. So we went out on this date. Walked in the park. I met her. She's cool, beautiful, tall, brown, gorgeous woman. The type of chick you want on your side, right?
Okay.
And we sat down, and I'm getting to know her. She's getting to know me. We're asking each other questions, and then I noticed that she's like, "I'm hungry." Whenever girls start initiating action, men have to realize that there's a reason for this. And usually it's because they want something out of you and you're not giving it to them. And beautiful women, as guys start dealing with hotter girls, the hotter the girl, the more direct she's going to be because she don't got time. She knows what time it is.
She's going to demand more.
She's going to demand things, and it's like that. Like, give it to me now or I'm going to have somebody else do it. I don't have time to spend on you. So I noticed this girl, she's asking, she's hungry. And I'm like, okay, well, be hungry. I'm chilling right now. When I'm hungry, we're going to go eat. So she kept insisting and insisting. Eventually I said, okay, let's go. Let's get some food. We got some food. And at that time, my mindset was like, if I spend $1 on you, you coming home with me. I'm not going to spend money on you. And really, it wasn't even a money thing. It's my time. If I'm spending time with you, I'm getting something out of it, and it's what I want, which is sex.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna sit around and babysit. Like, I'm letting her know throughout the date, this is what I want.
Right.
She's complicit. Like, yeah, we're gonna go to your place after. Blah 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 blah. And then comes the call from her friend, emergency.
Oh hell no.
Right?
That's the worst.
And any guy who deals with a lot of women, girls, you're gonna get a girl who's, I mean, you can't do nothing about it.
Mhm.
They're snakes. It's like they slip
Mhm.
away, right? Long story short, years pass. This girl's still, now mind you, model, beautiful, tall, gorgeous, brown skin, everything that I like personally, intelligent, all the qualities that I like. One thing I noticed though, so she slipped through the cracks. Looking back at her life now, still single, a beautiful girl at that. I mean, beautiful. So as a man, I ask myself, how is how? I mean, if that girl got a man, how in the world do you not have a man? And you're literally a model, beautiful. You're in your 30s. This is my advice, and I'm going to ask you this question. This is my take on this. Men, if there's a woman who's 30 years old, beautiful, model, she's meeting all the right criteria, she's gorgeous. Why is she not married? She's going to give you excuses, reasons. She's going to tell you the whole whoop-de-whoop. The reality is, gentlemen, is that she's not the best candidate. Something's wrong. Something's off. Would you agree with me on that statement?
100%. If a girl is attractive and she's over the age of 30 and still single, that's a red flag.
Super red flag.
That is a red flag.
Super red
because
flag.
Guess what? In her lifetime, she's had thousands, not hundreds, thousands of options with different men. And you telling me none of them added up? None of them reached your standards? You couldn't keep all the guys that you slept with. You couldn't have none of them stick around. None of them.
One guy.
Not one man.
Come on, ladies.
Like, if you're 30, a girl is gonna have like 20, 30 bodies.
That's crazy.
Average, and that's average. Some girls are gonna have way more.
When I went to college, and there's a girl right now. She's married, I believe. She's married to a girl. So she did a whole...
Play for the other team.
She played for the other squad. And she had sex with our entire football team. And she told me her goal was that. Like, she literally told me...
I think I smashed her.
You might have smashed her. She literally was like, my goal is to smash the entire football team. And I said, what? I said, let's go. I got my nut. She got her what she wanted. We kept it moving. To this day, I got a dub, but in my mind, she took a L. So as a man, she's not only disqualified by me, but any man that I know.
So you telling me you wouldn't wife her?
Hold on, hell no. Any man that I know is not going to be wifing her. Think about this. If she would have slept with 10, and we have a 72-man roster, my brother, you understand, she smashed the fat lineman. She smashed everybody on the team.
But bro, what if she has a good personality?
First of all, the question is this. The question is, every year we have freshmen. So how she managed to smash every dude on... we literally, as the coach, called the meeting and let everybody know what was happening. This girl was all for it. The coach called the meeting and let everybody know, like, this is a problem. This is what's happening. Be careful, men. But,
if the coach got to get involved, that's some other shit. That's some other shit.
The coach got involved. This is, bro, we're talking about collegiate level athletic shit going on. So, okay. Anyway, So this girl, imagine this. If she smashed, first of all, every man said yes to the box. Like, damn, not one of us has some morals. Not one dude in the team was like, I got a girl. Hey, that's
Listen,
the nature of men.
listen, ain't no man turning down free
Hot
box.
box. Ain't no man doing it.
And it's a simple reason.
She was bragging about it.
Men, it's not easy for men to get sex. At least not the average man. So ain't no man turning down sex, especially if she's somewhat attractive.
She was attractive.
If she's at least average or above, ain't no man turning that down.
Wait, let me tell you this. Check this out. So if I know her, and let's say I had 10 male friends that were friends of mine, and one of them decided to talk to her, I'm pulling my boy aside and saying, hey, this is this girl's past, and I'm gonna let him know, as a respect thing, hey man, I smashed her. Why? Because he gotta know that if he marries her, we're Eskimo brothers.
Yeah.
There's the girl that we both.
It's the worst.
Round of applause. We both gave her a round of applause. So, I mean, as men, it's like an internal thing. Like, yo, no one. I don't ever want you to marry. I will literally prohibit you from marrying a girl that smashed, bro. You can't do that, man. I know what your girl box look like. You don't want that.
Facts.
So women don't seem to understand. Your best option is to move out of the state and go somewhere where no one knows you, and act like you're the most purest woman in the world, and hope that your past doesn't come back to haunt you. Because if you don't, and you continue this life, and you're on OnlyFans where it's on the internet.
Internet is forever.
It's a forever thing. You're not, unfortunately, your life is, as far as relationship goes, as far as respect goes, it's pretty much over. Yeah. You're throwing your morals out the window.
Not only that, but like, these girls they can find the guy, but the issue is they're not going to find the guy that they want. Right.
Initially, because they eventually end up loving whoever simp agrees with. You don't think so?
I would beg to differ, man.
What?
I mean, listen, man. Like, if you're in proximity with somebody for long enough, you're gonna grow love for them. But these women will never have a genuine desire and respect for these men.
Can I tell you one?
And without respect, there can be no true love. You can have love for somebody, but for a woman to be in love, she must respect you first. And the woman's not going to respect no simp, no guy that she could walk all over. It's not going to happen.
Let me give you this thing, right? It's called the proximity effect. However, I would like to say, based on a statistical model, I would say it's a linear proximity. I would say a linear proximity chart, right? Depending on, if you were to take 100 men, 100 women, and paired them up and kept them, it doesn't even matter if they like each other, whatever. If you pair them up, if they're together, what eventually happens is that vibrations, atoms, start to align. Mm-hmm. They start vibrating at the same frequency, and when that happens within physical bodies, they tend to harmonize. So an example of this would be women having their periods at different time periods. You put women in the same household, they eventually harmonize. They start getting their period at the same time. Well, that happens on multiple spectrums.
Yeah, even at my gym.
Yeah.
Same shit.
Yeah, so, wow, incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So what ends up happening is you put people together long enough and they eventually will grow attraction for one another, even if they're not even attracted.
Yeah.
Just the energy. That's what they say, the vibe.
I wouldn't say it's, I mean, you could classify it as attraction, but I would say more you grow comfortable with the person. You get to know somebody, and the more comfortable you get with somebody, the more you're going to like them. Mm-hmm. But there's different levels of attraction. There's sexual attraction, there's friendship attraction, There's different levels of attraction.
Personality attracted to
Yeah,
personal traits. Yep.
so women can grow to be attracted to a man's personality, right? But to get that genuine sexual attraction where she just wants to fucking suck your dick, like that has to come naturally, and that comes from you being a strong, dominant man.
Well, hold on. Here's the manager at Walmart, who is a perceived authority to this new employee, who now not only is he the manager, so he's making more than me. Not only is he the authority, he saw me one day grab a bag of chips and eat it. He didn't say nothing, so he's the authority, and he's cool, and he's cracking jokes, and he's being real polite and sweet. Oh, he brought me food. Oh, we're going out to eat, right? This perceived higher status that he has, he as a man is leveraging to get buns, because a lot of the times women are infidelity happens at the workplace. So women going to work is a net negative for relationships in general. If your wife is not working for you, odds are someone at her workplace is either saying things that are inappropriate, touching her, or she's touching, because we tend to think that men are always the one hunting, but a lot of times women step out of line.
Yep.
And they go after men as well, and they say certain things that
especially if it's a man that's of higher perceived value than
like the manager, like the manager at Walmart.
Yep.
So, you can't be an average man. That's basically what I'm saying is, as men, we don't have the opportunity, or I shouldn't say opportunity, we don't have the
luxury.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. The luxury of being average. Being the mailman is not gonna work. No, in 2023. Brother.
You know what's crazy? Women have the luxury of being average, but men do not.
Yep.
Right? Because an average woman, I mean, I don't want to put nobody on blast, but I literally know a girl that went to dinner with Drake.
Jesus, can we speak about that privately? I want to know.
Yeah, I'll tell you off camera. But like, she's cute. She got a body, but she ain't all that. Like, she's not like some, like, if you was walking down the street, you wouldn't be like, oh my god.
Do I know her?
Nah, you don't know her. But
I feel sad.
But she went to dinner with Drake. It's crazy. And acted like it was nothing. And meanwhile,
me and Drake are Eskimo brothers, by the way. Shout out to Drake. Me and Drake are Eskimo brothers.
Meanwhile, this girl is a nobody. Like, she's not overly attractive. I mean, she's good looking, but she's not like crazy hot. Mm-hmm. She's not anything special, right? I've smashed way hotter girls than her, but yet she went to dinner with Drake. Now, do you think a guy that's barely above average is going to be able to go to dinner with Rihanna, Beyonce,
Man, I wish
any of these high status girls? Hell no. No.
Mariah Carey, if you're listening, maybe not now. You're not the cream of the crop, but I mean, 2004. 2004. If you would have taken me out to dinner, maybe you would have got a little something on me.
Mariah, holla at your boy, yeah?
Well, holla at him, not me, because you old news now. Nick Cannon got that. You know what I'm saying? Me and Nick, we cool with it. You know what I'm saying?
Nick's the man, by the way.
Shout out Nick Cannon.
Nick's the man.
Nick Cannon's business model, I respect him for what he's done, and I believe Nick Cannon should have the right to everything that he's created.
Absolutely.
Hey, Kanye West going hard now.
Yeah?
Kanye West he just trademarked Yews. YEWS, I believe. He just trademarked that.
I know that.
You didn't know? I know
that.
So he trademarked 26 different variations of that word. So I could only imagine what he's planning. However, I could already see that it is genius. Whatever he's doing, I think it's going to be like an incredible, satire is because I'm like comedic when I think like comedy is harsh. Like I'm like with Joe Rogan on the side of some like you have to take horrible situations and be able to joke about it.
Absolutely.
Like comics have a thing where they'll take like a dead baby and they'll make a joke about it and
Right.
it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible, but it's
the best humor comes from pain. The best humor comes from a dark place.
yeah.
But nowadays, people are so fucking sensitive
Soft.
that they're ruining comedy.
Yeah.
They're ruining comedy.
You can't even joke about
like
things.
you can't even joke about races. Oh, now you're racist. Like, what if you joke about every single race? You like
listen.
It's crazy, yo. People are too fucking sensitive.
I consider myself a religious person, man. I'm a religious individual in the sense that I love to study. I'm not bound by a book. I love studying religion. I'm not like an atheist. I know one of the hard realities is that there are people out there, guys, who know where religion comes from, the history behind it, and I'm one of those kind of people. Like I'm thankful to have been in the Library of Congress, read a lot of books. I have been in the Library of the United Nations, and I've read a lot of that books in there. I have a plethora of knowledge, and my personal, like, I love history. So the knowledge of like God, even just the word, because I'm very like the word means this.
The etymology behind
the etymological root behind of every single word. I'm there, and I'm fortunate to be able to say like I don't like to use the word religious because that's the wrong word. However, I am a scholar when it comes to the knowledge of things, and I have like the Star of Ramfan. Some people say the Star of David. Others who know a little deeper about the knowledge. Others know that this is a celestial. I mean, we could go deep and deep and deeper and deeper and deeper. And at the end of the day, it's a symbol, and the symbol represents something now that it maybe didn't represent back then. And the people who wear this symbol, we should be able to talk about.
Right.
We could say I'm Jewish, for example. I should be able to speak about things and may offend some people, but if it's at a comedy, what's the problem? But nowadays, you say the wrong thing about the wrong individual, you say something and all of a sudden you're labeled as anti this or you're labeled. It's like, how am I racist towards blacks if I'm black?
It's just crazy, man. Like, when you can't talk about something, you know who runs shit. The people you can't talk about are the ones that run shit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you should be able, like, especially in this country, you should be able to speak freely on anything you want, as long as you're not inciting violence, as long as you're not.
Does freedom really exist?
That's a really good question.
Are you free? I mean, I personally, I would tell you hands down, depends on your level of knowledge. If you know law, then we can argue or we can have a discussion about freedom. If you don't know law, then hell no, you're not free.
I would argue, I mean, even if you know law, you're definitely
a little freer than most.
Yeah, like you're down the path to freedom further than others.
But you still a slave.
But even then, I would say to a certain degree, you're still a slave. Like, if you're still using fiat currency, if you're still dependent on the grid, like, if you're still, unless you're completely fucking off grid, you got your own island somewhere, like, you can't really say you're 100% free. Like, you can't, like.
With AI, will AI liberate us as a species, as a people, or will it entrap us to a higher being?
What do you mean entrap us to a higher being? Like, help in our evolution?
No, meaning we are subject to a more intelligent,
Like it would enslave us?
yes. Or because, think about it. If you are going to ask a question and the entity that's responding to you is a higher intelligence that could potentially replicate itself, that can potentially create a physical representation of itself that is stronger, faster, better, blah blah blah. It is overall better than you as a living soul. This is not a living thing. This is a forever thing. As long as there's electricity run through the wires, it's on.
Right.
So if this thing is an advancing and intelligent, sentient being, I mean, is it a threat to us?
I believe at some point it could be.
You don't think it is at the moment?
It could be in ways that we don't know or see.
Because it could already be making moves behind the scenes.
It could. That's what I'm saying. Like, it could be in ways that we don't know or see.
Yeah.
But in the future, it could be in ways that we can see, but like we have no choice type shit.
I'd like to make this observation. I have a Twitter account, and in my Twitter account, I follow white supremacist kind of pages. It's weird. My Twitter is a really interesting place because and I don't follow many people, but the interactions that I've had give me like a real weird timeline. My timeline is like a lot of weird information, but it's real like white nationalists and white people talking about oh, they're hurting us here and there. However, I have another Twitter account, right? I used to have another Twitter account where all I would see is how like, oh, black people getting killed here and there and this, that, and the third. And then in this Twitter account, I see that it's, oh, white people getting killed here and there. So what I realized is that there is a machine that is placating to the ideas that we want to internalize. Yeah. Because we're not thinking about the death of this man or the other man as these are men that passed away. We're placating on the thought that a white man, a black man, they're being killed by the opposite. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's a whole different thing. So I think that behind that is a very intelligent system that is causing division amongst people. And I have evidence to prove that if you follow, like, subscribe to certain pages, and you even give a slither of a hint that you are a specific kind of race or whatever, you're being fed information that will make you dislike or think that you're or you're being oppressed by another group of people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
I agree 100% with that, man. Like, I feel like the media, social media, mainstream media is purposely trying to keep us divided, whether it's through race, religion, even through sexes, men versus women. They're trying to keep us fighting each other so we don't see who's really pulling the string.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, at the end of the day, race is actually a man-made concept. Yeah, like a man-made concept. Yeah. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. We're all actually technically different shades of brown. Every single human being is brown, just a different shade of brown. Nobody's actually technically black or white.
Yes.
We're all different shades of brown at the end of the day.
We're different tones of brown.
Yep.
And the color black or white are shades that do not exist.
Yep.
In color. They're not colors.
No human being is actually black. No human being is actually white.
So that's a lie. It's a
lie.
Yeah.
It's a lie. It's to divide us. It's to divide us.
I agree.
We're all brown. We all bleed red. we like, you know what I mean? We all have one heart, two lungs. Like we're more alike than we are different.
And we're being manipulated by principalities or institutions or maybe families who have a interest in our demise.
And what's frustrating about it is, to people like us, right? Like their playbook is old. Divide and conquer, create order from chaos. Like, but people keep falling for it again and again and again. Like after the whole, you know, I don't know what I can say here, C-19 thing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you would think people would like I honestly had more faith in the human race before that happened. And I'm just like, yo, people can't be this dumb. Like people can't be this easily manipulated and this easily like put into fear. And like, yo, it's crazy, man. Like that opened my eyes up to like, yo, a lot of people are still just so plugged into the system. Like they have lost the ability, or have never gained the ability, to be able to analyze and think critically and question what they're being told and question if it makes sense, and doing their own independent research. Like, I thought more people were more on that wave, but it made it clear that's not the case.
Well, I have I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I have a perspective that is a bit different because I went from someone who was like, C-19, but I lost my mom to C-19. So I have the experience like, oh wait, hold on. I was sitting here thinking, oh, this is BS, or this is crazy, or nah, that ain't. And my mom as well. We both sat there and said, oh, forget all that. We don't know anyone who passed away, until it happened to me. Where I lost, Tia, my mom, the most important person in my life, the literal rock to my world. And that moment, my brother, was like I said to my, like in my mind, I thought, hold on, so I mean, yeah, there is a conspiracy out there. We could, and I agree with the vaccine.
Listen, I never said.
That.
I'm not saying that people didn't actually die from it. Right?
It's not as bad as they said it was.
But what I'm saying is, it's just like the average flu. You get what I'm saying? Like, people die from the flu every year, but we don't shut down the world because of it.
I agree.
You get what I'm saying?
I agree, yeah.
Like, I'm not saying C-19 wasn't real or that people didn't actually die from it.
Now, let me ask this question. Do you think that because at the moment we didn't know if this was going to be something where, people would pass away like that. The actions that were taken maybe were the most logical actions for preventative measures not even.
Nah, man.
Yeah, and guess what? I think
like think about this, bro. None of this shit makes sense.
Companies made billions.
Oh, hell yeah.
Billions of dollars from this new world system. Not only were companies that were mom and pop stores already being tormented by companies like Amazon and Walmart moving into the digital space, and if we were to be fair, we can say, hey, you got to change with the times. Things are changing. The world is changing. It's time for you to advance. If you can't advance, hey, you're going to get left behind. The world did advance. Websites are now where people are purchasing their things from.
Yeah.
So you have a mom and pop store, you're just serving your community. You have a website, you're serving you can serve everywhere.
Yep.
So in a sense, it's like you're still stuck in this old world. Well, we have a new world order.
Yep.
This is the new world. The new world is technology is going to move us forward. If you're still stuck in the past, hey, we try to give you guys a warning. Now, here's this beer bug that's going to change society and make everyone have to order online. If you want this, if all the mom and pop stores, we shutting you down. It's like, It's eerie how it all plays into a trajectory,
Yeah.
a path.
But it's scary, bro, how people are so easily manipulated, easily put into fear.
You ever seen the movie District 9?
Yeah, I love that movie. I
But
love that
I
movie.
I see District 9 written all over the place. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Yep. Like it's just like I didn't think it would be that easy for people to just be like, all right, like I'm gonna just take this foreign substance in my body that the government's forcing upon me.
Mhm.
I'm gonna just, abide by these rules and double mask up and not breathe oxygen and like what the fuck? Yo, I don't know, man. Like I am buying to none of that since day one.
Mhm.
Like unvaxxed, I never followed social distancing orders,
Do
never masked up, nothing, and
do you know do you
I'm
know
perfectly fine.
do you know what the studies came out that said that people who did take vaccines, who took the first like Pfizer, Moderna, those vaccines at the early onset, and maybe not the latest version, but 2020, 2021, and 2022 versions of the vaccine, that the vaccine only stayed in their system for 60 days, and then after that there's no trace of the vaccine pretty much at all. So basically you had 60 days of like immunity, right? And then after that you're just back to normal regular people. This is the actual science that has come out. So basically, if you were vaccinated,
Well, I mean, studies prove that the vaccine never prevented the spread of
yeah,
C19 to
yeah,
begin
yeah,
with.
yeah, yeah.
It never prevented it.
hmm
Never prevented you from catching it, and never prevented you from spreading it. So what the fuck? What was the point?
Yeah.
What was the point?
And now they're saying that even if you did get the vaccine, it didn't do nothing past 60 days because your cells would dissolve the vaccine itself. Like it would just become cellular waste, and then it would be expelled from your system, and now you're just a regular Joe.
I don't know if I buy that. I think it's more sinister than that. I think it's more sinister than that. Like they ain't do all that for nothing. Like they did all that to inject in you some shit that they can use later, or something to corrupt your DNA.
Right.
Like
To make people sterile,
yeah,
or
that's definitely could
or
be part of
weaken
it.
your genetic
Yep.
code so that there's a pedigree of a genetic class,
Yeah, or even to make you more susceptible to suggestion.
or to prepare people for cybernetic integration.
Yep, that could be
Prepare
part
your
of it as well.
body to be able to, in the future, let's say you have children, that whatever this does to your DNA better acclimates their biological systems to get into, because a lot of times, and I know we're running out of time. We're gonna be going for 3 hours, so
Damn.
yeah. I mean, we
Yo, time flies,
yeah,
man.
time flies. We're
Time
having fun
flies.
here.
Time flies.
So we'll go for another 8 minutes, and then we'll
Mhm.
call it a day. But Bill Gates put out like millions of genetically engineered mosquitoes in Florida.
I heard of that. I heard.
Yeah, and the purpose and the reason behind that is a very logical reason, which is he created the mosquitoes were created so that they can reproduce, but their offspring cannot reproduce. So what it'll end up doing is a lot of mosquitoes will end up reproducing, but those mosquitoes won't be able to reproduce. So that's a way of population control. So basically, the female mosquito is going to get impregnated by a mosquito, and then they will have children, but their children won't be able to have children. So then it lowers the population of mosquitoes. So we can't just kill mosquitoes, but we can put them in the population of mosquitoes and have those mosquitoes integrate with mosquitoes, and their children then be the reason why the mosquito population drops, which is an incredible step in advancement. My only concern is when you start messing around with God,
Mm-hmm.
you're not smart enough to know what the plan is. So you don't know why all those mosquitoes really exist. There may be a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
There's an ecosystem there that, whatever it may be. So playing God may not be
It's a slippery slope.
It's a very slippery slope, man.
Because everything is interconnected. Once you mess with one thing,
yes,
it messes with something else that you didn't think was interconnected with it, but it is.
yes,
Right? Just like our bodies, right? All of our muscles are interconnected. Right? Like for example, as a trainer, somebody who's experiencing lower back pain, they might think it's their lower back that's
and it's
the
their
problem,
hamstrings.
but in actuality, it might be tight hamstrings, or it might be something wrong with their knee, right? That's giving them lower back pain. So like a lot of times, what you think is the issue, it's not. That's not the cause of the issue. It's something else, but it's interconnected that you don't see.
Right.
And it's the same thing with nature. It's the same thing in life. Like everything is interconnected. And a lot of the times, what you think is the problem, that's actually not the root cause. It's connected to something else. So like when you're playing God and you're mixing, matching this and that, you can affect things that you don't logically think can be affected from it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. We are in a very interesting time.
Absolutely.
And what I would like to say, in closing, is that, it's 2023. We have a lot to live for. I think family is very important. There is no greater time in history than to have children now. Why? Because now is what we have. If you wait until good times to have children, you may never have children.
Yep.
You have to
It'll never be the perfect time.
It's never the perfect time. The time is now. Have children now. Have families now. Learn about women nature today. Find you a woman that's going to submit right now. Make sure she don't break up with you right now. Make sure that you can.
But also build yourself up.
Absolutely.
That's
right
number
now.
one.
That's
build
the
yourself
first thing.
up mentally, physically, financially. Get yourself to the best version of yourself. Right now, you have no time to waste. The world isn't going to wait for you. Women aren't going to wait for you. Build yourself up right now. If all men watching this, you should be lifting weights, not just fucking doing cardio. Like one of these girls. Lift weights. Lift heavy weights. Eat good. Do some type of combat sport, whether it's MMA, boxing, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, doesn't matter. Learn how to fight. Learn how to punch. Learn how to take a punch. Lift weights. Get your body as strong as possible. Decrease your body fat. Increase your muscle mass. Increase your testosterone level. And become the best man that you could possibly be.
Hang out with men that you want to be like.
Yes. Surround yourself with other strong, masculine men. And you will begin to emulate them.
Right. That is the key to success. This is 2023. Men in general need to better themselves. Women have to better themselves.
Yep.
I'm someone who it is what it is. I'm like, that's where my mind is. You're not a virgin. All right, well, maybe I won't date you. Somebody will. If you're not a good woman, it's one of those. I see it as like, if a man did homosexual acts in the past, like even your future, to me, you're gay. You can't really, maybe you don't like men, whatever, but to me, you still kind of gay. So, you're not you kind of gay, nigga. You gay. So it's kind of one of those things where, your reality is the actions that you make. So be sure to make the right choices, especially when no one's watching, because you just never know who's going to out you, who's going to talk about you, when your last day on the earth is, and how people will remember you. So, to my audience, I would say be the best version of yourself. Continue to build. continue to grind, continue to find purpose and meaning in life, have children, have a family, find love. Don't worry about anything outside of what you can control, and be the best individual you can be for not only yourself, but representing your family, your lineage, your legacy, those who are your future heirs, and be the best.
I salute to that.
All right. So, brother, I mean, we've been going, and we could probably go for longer. I just plug yourself in, give your final words. What would you say to the world, to the people? This is one of many other days that you're gonna be here. So hopefully we're gonna have. I mean, we're gonna bring girls. We're gonna get in. We're gonna go. We're gonna go in.
Yeah, I'm with it all, man.
Yeah.
Hey, you can find me at lifebuildingfitness_ on IG. Send me a message. I will get you right. If you have any questions, whether you're a man or woman, I am here to help you become the best and strongest version of yourself. Love yourself, work hard, focus on the things that you can control, become the best version of yourself, and everything else will fall into place, man.
Yo, thank you for being here, Primo. I appreciate you. I love you. I respect you. You're an inspiration to me. You always have been, and I appreciate you for being here, man, for real.
Yo, love you, Prim. Appreciate you having me, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. Bro, that was the best podcast.
Yo, that was fire, Prim.
That was the best podcast ever, man.
Yo, that was fire, Prim.
That was the best podcast. I appreciate you so much.
It felt like I was just having a normal conversation with you, bro. Yo, you're a good interviewer, man.
Yeah?
You're a really good interviewer. Because I was like, what's this nigga going to ask me? Like, what? Yo, you're a good ass interviewer, bro. Did you think of the questions ahead of time, or you just...
Nah, as we go,
just go?
Yeah, as we go, because
Bro, you're good.
I want things to